got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. How much the gang we packing? We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoes, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas, keep. You with me, sheesh. Bonito, cheap, keep.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide.
Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Vegas Claw, bro, you got me cracking up. Said Frankie the type of guy to keep his Disney World Mickey Mouse ears on days after getting back from Disneyland. Shout out to Vegas Claw. But guys, welcome back to another live stream here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. Guys, Bitcoin getting the breakdown here. We are potentially, as we are rejecting our macro 786 Fibonacci retracement, guys, are we putting in that lower high to potentially crack our low here, sitting at about 100,300, give or change, give or take some change here. We have that low at about 100,300 and I think like $40. We are potentially putting that lower high in underneath our macro 786. Are we about to see Bitcoin get the breakdown, or are we going to be able to escape here? Well, we have some bearish signs on Market Cypher B, guys. We have the incoming weekly red dot. We have the 3-day money flow crossover into the red. Now, obviously, I'm not bearish here long term, but it does look like that doorway to 97K might be open again. And yesterday on the live stream, guys, we looked at that 2 Market Cypher B bearish setups, one 2 days ago, and then one on yesterday's live stream, the daily and the 90-minute money flow crossover, the daily red dot with that 90-minute money flow crossover, looking for the continuation down through our bigger profile. And we just barely made it down to that value area high, or value area low. We front ran it by a couple of dollars there. But we're going to break down all the key levels, guys. I'm going to show you the range I'm looking at over the weekend and what we could potentially anticipate. I mean, I'll try to cover a situation where we just kind of pump on out of here, but Bitcoin's going to have to pull off some miracles here. But we'll break down everything for the CandleMafia key levels, my overall plan as we go into the weekend. So shout out to you guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in on this beautiful Friday evening. There's a lot of things you guys could be doing on a Friday, but you chose to learn some TA and hopefully figure out how to make money trading Bitcoin, whether price goes up or down. Let's see. We got Jesse in the chat, our like police, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button. If we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, I'll give away $150 in Solana. Tonight, it's Friday, baby. Let's go. Let's see. We got Brandon in the chat said, LFG, what is going on, bro? Let's see. We got Crypto Chef in the chat. Vegas Claw said, yes, about to get the McFoley sock. Shout out to Vegas Claw. Shout out to the socks out there, guys. Shout out to Ruade. Ruade B. Shout out to you, bro. Good to see you in here. Welcome in. We got Giga Longbottom in the chat. We got Cigar. Welcome in, Cigar. We got Alina in the chat. Said, are we... oh, God. Are we buying ropes or is there still hope is crazy. Shout out to Alina in the chat. Thank you for being here. We got Mr. Ethereum in the chat. We will be taking a look at Ethereum. I'll take a look at some of the altcoins with you guys today as well. But yeah, we're going to focus on Bitcoin, guys, because we have a lot to talk about as we did get that continuation down. What are the chances of us going back down to 97K? I'm going to break it all down for you guys. We'll take a look at the higher time frames, the lower time frames, the key levels, the macro key levels, the local key levels, everything as we do every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with all that being said, say it ain't so, Frankie. Shout out to A's. Welcome in, bro. But yeah, we got Satoshi Glakamoto in the chat, lighting up a cigar right now. Hey, shout out to Satoshi. Take a puff, bro. Let's see. Let's get a pump. Shout out to Big Huggy. So yeah, we'll cover the bearish case and the bullish case here, guys. But yeah, we're just going to jump right into the charts. We got a lot to look at today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. Stream Deck just decided to go down. All right, so we'll do that manually. So here we are. What the heck happened to the Stream Deck? Oh, okay, cool. It just unmapped the button. Interesting. All right, so here we are, guys. Now, oh, man. We got the continuation of the downside. I'm going to cover kind of what we looked at yesterday to anticipate this drop down. And, yeah, 2 days ago, we were looking at the 16-hour red dot printing with the 1-hour money flow crossover into the red here, guys. And that was making us anticipate. Let me take this. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep that on the chart. Whoops. Come on over here. Keep that on the chart. Come back over here. So obviously, guys, yesterday or 2 days ago, we were looking at that 16-hour red dot. We covered this yesterday as well, just kind of going over. I like to go over, you know, what we looked at the day before or a couple days before and, you know, how we see it play out so you guys can understand how these signals typically play. But obviously, we did have the 16-hour red dot printing up here with our 1-hour money flow crossover into the red sitting right about here. And then once you get that 16-hour red dot to print with that 1-hour money flow crossover, typically when that money flow crosses over into the red on the lower time frame, you are anticipating a continuation to the downside, or you're expecting that overall trend to continue to the downside here. And we did get stuck inside of our main range here. Excuse me, guys. We did get stuck inside this main range. We barely front ran this value area low, and I'm going to break down these local levels for you guys. But just to kind of show you, right, like how we anticipate these drops down, we had the 1-hour money flow crossover into the red, the 16-hour red dot, and then yesterday we were talking about how you could just shift up a time frame when you see that play out. You could say, well, now we have the daily red dot printing with the 90-minute money flow crossover into the red, and as long as that 90-minute money flow crossover stays in the red here, guys, we were anticipating lower highs and lower lows. And if we pull up our local range that we were looking at the time, back here 2 days ago, we were getting stuck under that POC, anticipating the value area low, and then at that point, you know, you have that 90-minute money flow crossing over, and then, yeah, you look for those lower highs and those lower lows, and we did get the drop down where we were looking at this larger profile sitting right here with that value area low sitting at about $102,000, almost $400, which is a very, very, very key level on the chart right now, guys. But I'm going to get into these a little bit more in just a minute, but first off, I want to cover the higher time frames here. Why is this rejection a little bit worrisome, in my opinion? You guys know at the beginning of the week, as we were looking at this macro 786 Fibonacci retracement pulled from the all-time high all the way to the swing low here, when we swept about $100,000, we swept at dropped down to about $100,350-ish. This is that entire Fibonacci retracement. And if we are going to put in a lower high before continuing that overall trend to the downside, which would make you anticipate a crack of this low at $100,350, this is the area where you would expect that rejection to come from, right? And you guys know we have been covering the potential pullback to about $97,000 constantly as we were playing around at this value area high the first time, and then even you know, even on the way down here. This is obviously a very, very key volume profile to look at. And if we cannot decisively get back above this value area high, guys, that doorway to 97K was open just like it was here, and it is open now as well, except we do have that bearish signs on the higher time frames for market cipher B. We have the weekly red dot looking to potentially print here. We have about 2 days and 3 hours to see that happen. But as we were looking at this, right, the opportunity to get the bigger breakout into all-time highs was really kind of like you know, dependent on the fact that we would get above that 786. And again, from the simple standpoint of if you're going to put in a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low, this is that area that the 786 specifically is the area you have to flip to support in order to call for those all-time highs. We played around with it a little bit, and we even talked about this, right? It's okay to see price action play around with this level a little bit, but really what we want to see was what we wanted to see was the weekly candle closure above that. That would kind of make me feel really good that we were going to maintain support. And obviously, we have gotten the drop down. And unless Bitcoin pulls off a miracle here and just rips completely to the upside, it doesn't look like we're going to get that candle closure above the 786, which would just be generally more bearish in the medium term. Again, opening up that door to that 97%, not 97%, hopefully, $97,000 retracement. Now, we do have some local support sitting down here as well. I'll go over that with you guys. There's no guarantee that we have to come down to 97K, but again, unless we close that weekly candle up here, we could see a little bit more turbulence up here. So I'm going to cover the macro levels, the local levels, as well as the kind of like overall, I would say like medium time frame range, which I did just show right here, right? So this is kind of the overall range I'm watching right now. Value area low sitting at about $102,350. This is also, I'm going to hide this fib. This is also confluent with our full Golden Pocket 786 retracement, or I should say 786. We are holding the POC. We're getting a little bit of support here on the Golden Pocket POC. Is it impossible to bounce out of here, guys? I mean, technically nothing's impossible, but when we look at money flow here, we have the 4-hour money flow crossing over into the red as we looked at yesterday, right? This would indicate that any bounce to the upside would be looked at as lackluster for potential lower highs and lower lows to come, which makes the next local target sitting here at the 786. If you lose that Golden Pocket, the next place for price to likely go is going to be that 786 retracement. And just in the grand scheme of this volume profile, pretty clean here. We got the breakdown, the retest, and then we come down to that POC. So you might kind of cling to that point of control. But if we do continue down here based off the money flow, maybe we get a little retracements to the upside. I'm going to cover some local resistance that we have. But if we do get the rejection, the key level to look at here is that 786 value area low. Again, sitting at about 102,357. And then that 786 sits at about 102,577, right? So it's going to be a little bit of a zone here. Turn that blue for support. So yeah, I mean, listen, we did also have a daily MPOC here as well. I'm going to go ahead and take these off the chart because these got absolutely melted through, which I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not that upset that we melted through this support because these were going to be very sketchy levels to long off of, right? Like if I pull these MPOCs back up, right, we technically had an MPOC here, but at that point, if you're looking for a bounce off that point of control, you're really just going to be, you're pretty much just longing like directly into resistance, right? Like if we just held that instantly, you're just longing right into resistance. It's not that big of a move up. And this value area high, guys, at $105,700. We're going to talk about this level in a minute. This is a big area of resistance and an important level of resistance because, again, if we cannot break out of this, again, it does open up the door to come to that POC. And just the general idea of getting the rejection here at the 786, again, coming down to a lower time frame, high, low, lower, high, lower, low. The anticipation there, if we do not close that weekly candle, could be the break of structure to the downside here. And again, it doesn't instantly call for 97K. I'm going to cover the local level of support just underneath that. But again, just from a context standpoint here, if we print that weekly red dot here over the weekend, not only will we have the weekly red dot, but we would also have the bearish divergence, which is not necessarily the most bullish sign. Now, again, doesn't make me think the bear market is incoming or anything like that. We have plenty of support underneath us on the higher time frames that we could still potentially put in higher lows and higher highs. Maybe we just have a little bit more working out to do here. Come down to the POC, potentially put in a higher low. Maybe we hold the local level that I'll bring up in a minute. Or even if we got to move down to that value area low. Like this macro volume profile, guys, is going to be the biggest kind of range that we're looking at because, again, if we do come down to the POC, don't get support, we start losing this. Some other key levels we're looking at down here. We'll cross that bridge if and when we have to go there. But again, just don't forget, macro value area high, 105,750, and a lot of confluence up here at this point. Get stuck under there. POC is open. Lose the POC. Value area low sits at about 90,500. Again, I'm not calling for this. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, it is technically, potentially in the cards here. So, yeah, let me go ahead and jump on down to the lower time frames here really quickly because if we are going to get that break of the low here, again, we're holding that daily MPOC, which is, somewhat nice. I mean, again, based off money flow, I would anticipate the overall continuation to be to the downside, right? Because if that money flow always indicates the overall trend, sure, these green dots, like specifically what I'm looking at, if we're going to get a bigger retracement up here to come into these next local areas of resistance, green dot on the 8-hour, 30 minutes been trying to, come up into the green here. Maybe we get a little bit more of a retracement, but overall, guys, like even the 8-hour money flow is starting to cross over into the red. So any bounces as of right now have to be looked at as lackluster for lower highs and potential lower lows, targeting the value area low. And then once we lose this level, guys, again, it just lines up with the idea that we're going to come take this low. And if we do, we have one last level of support before 97K that we could look at. It is a pretty confluent level of support. I'm going to pull it up here. It's a little bit of a zone. We have a golden pocket, the anchored VWAP here, as well as a, I believe, daily naked point of control sitting just in the middle of that at about $99,500. So again, based off the structure here, if we do reject that 786, you're anticipating to break the low. Technically, you could take that low into this support. Depending on what money flow looks like there, guys, again, if money flow is continuing to the downside, we could anticipate lackluster bounces, maybe some potential bounce day trades or maybe little scalps to the upside from there. But if money flow is continuing to the downside, that weekly red dot and bearish divergence is printing, the idea would be lower highs and lower lows to continue unless we get that money flow to crack back up into the green. But we're not going to know that until we come down to that level. And, I hope that we don't have to deal with that. But again, at the end of the day, I can only give the information that we have on the charts here. Money flow coming out, it's honestly not really looking too hot unless, again, Bitcoin just pulls some kind of a miracle off this daily MPOC. All the indicators fake out and we just shoot on up to the upside. And I'm going to go a little bit into why this doesn't make me bearish for the cycle, guys. Obviously, the geopolitical situation is going crazy right now. Maybe we get some kind of a black swan dump or something like that. But at the end of the day, these are the local levels that I'm looking at. Just keep in mind between about $100,000 psychological, anchored VWAP, golden pocket, daily MPOC, sitting between, I would call it about 100K all the way down to about 98.7-ish, right? At that point, right, the real thing I like about this level, like the strongest level within here, in my opinion, this golden pocket is not the full golden pocket retracement from the low. Doesn't mean we can't bounce off of it, but really what I like here is the anchored VWAP pulled all the way from the low here at $75,000. This would be a massive, massive level to hold if we're going to see that aggressive continuation up, right? Like you really want to bounce off that anchored VWAP. So, maybe we come play with that over the weekend if we do come down. But that's going to be a really, really big level to hold, right? Because if we break down below that, right, you're starting to lose 100K. You're starting to lose the anchored VWAP. That would, again, in the grand context, right, you're looking at that macro volume profile saying, well, hey, lose the value area high, right? Come on down in. You might bounce around a little bit, but once you start losing that anchored VWAP, right, that POC just becomes more and more likely. It's, we don't have to come down there, but I just want everyone to understand the context of this larger profile. Unless we put the higher low, unless we put the bounce in here at the golden pocket MPOC $100,000 anchor VWAP level, that 97K level might be in the cards here, guys. But again, this is an area where we could potentially put in a good little bounce, right? This does not make me feel bearish like for a bear market to come in. There is a level that, if broken, will make me feel a little bit more worried. But yeah. We'll see what happens here. The local range to look at is going to be this one right here. Lose that 786. Look to come take that low into the 100K support I just showed. And then if we don't, again, we'll be looking for bounces off there in the premium Discord. But if we lose that, again, major volume profile target would be about 97K. Hopefully we don't have to see it. I want Bitcoin to go up more, probably, just as much, if not more, than anybody else, guys. I want Bitcoin to just, skirt on out of here. And I guess at the end of the day, if we just kind of get some kind of like a Lambo candle to come in here and get us above there on the weekly, maybe we get some kind of massive weekly pump, weekend pump, get above that 786. But again, with money flow right now, that's not looking like the high probability situation, right? The past 2 days, the 16-hour red dot and the 1 hour money flow, the daily red dot, the 90-minute money flow made us anticipate the continuation down, and we did get that, right? And more often than not, you will see that play out. Now, local resistance above. If we get a continued retracement off this golden pocket POC, not a bad level, right? This golden pocket is a place where you could be potentially putting in a higher low. But again, it's really the money flow that's making me look for that continuation down. Could we bounce from here and skirt on out? Sure. But there is a lot of resistance above, right? Number one, biggest level, obviously going to be the macro value area high, 105,800, which we are pretty much playing with right now. And then we also have we broke down below the anchored VWAP from the low here, and we also have a anchored VWAP coming up through this from the high, right? This anchored VWAP is coming down as well. So 105,000, this is the first big level of resistance. And then above that, right, if we pull up our local profile, you have this daily MPOC. If we pull our fib from the high to the low, right, you have a golden pocket confluence on that value area high and daily MPOC. So this is going to be a big level to get above as well. Let's say we get above the macro value area high and we keep pushing to the upside. This is going to be a big level to get above, right? If we get stuck under this trend or under this anchored VWAP from the top, right? Like you have the daily MPOC, you have the value area high of our kind of overall range here, as well as all these anchored VWAPs and the Fibonacci retracement. If we're going to put in a lower high here, this could be where to do it at, right? And then above that, you have the 786 sitting at about $109,000. I don't know if we're going to get all the way back up there, but this is also confluent with our local range POC. So, we have a lot of resistance above us at this point, right? And when money flow points to the downside like that, maybe we get this 8-hour green dot. The trend continues to the upside locally here, but I would be very careful around this zone at about 106,945 all the way up to about $108,000. Flip that golden pocket to support. The next likely place for price to go is going to be that 786, but even then, you are not necessarily escaping the continuation of that overall downtrend. So I just want you guys to be aware. We get these green dots. You could continue up, but we have a lot of resistance above, and it's not really going to be until we can see what the time frames look like once we get up here. Like maybe the 4-hour money flow fakes back out into the green. That'd be a very confusing situation to be in. But I'm just going to keep it nice and simple for you here, guys. For over the weekend, I'm going to hide the daily MPOCs. This is your overall range. Value area high is always going to be resistance. Anchored VWAP is always going to be resistance. And again, if you're going to put in a high, a low, a lower high, and then continue that larger breakdown, this would be the zone to look at with the honorable mention at that 786 at 109K. If we get above that 786, I mean, you're still below the macro 786, which I'll just pull up here so you guys can get an eye on where it is, right? You're still below the macro 786. Whoops. But, yeah, I don't know. We just have a lot of resistance above. And I would just say, money flow is oftentimes very, very, very accurate. It helped us identify this continuation to the downside. And, again, it could just get stepped on. We're hoping the TA would really have to get stepped on here, right? We also have the 3-day money flow crossing over into the red, which typically does, fresh red dot here as well. It typically does give you a little bit of an overall retracement to the downside, even if it is not going to send Bitcoin to zero. You can see here, we got a nice bounce to the upside. Money flow crossed over into the red, but we did wind up putting in a macro higher low and then getting a bigger move to the upside. So again, I'm not expecting it to go to zero, but our anticipation of that $97,000 level is definitely in the cards here. Unless we close that weekly candle above the macro 786, which does sit at about, just to give you guys the actual level there, $109,500. So it's going to be kind of like I'm sitting here, I'm analyzing the charts as they develop. This is kind of a difficult trading environment, to be honest. I was telling the premium Discord earlier today, it's just like front run city here. If we had pushed into this value area low, I probably would have taken a long off that. But we just front ran it, and I was kind of cooked yesterday, to be honest. So yeah, it's and we'll see what happens. We didn't fill this volume profile in full just yet. So, we have massive resistance up here. And, yeah, guys, I hate being the guy. I hate being the guy looking for lower prices. But, I'll never give you I'll never not give you the hopium, right? Hey, if we get a Lambo candle up here, you could potentially break out. But again, that is not really what the charts are saying. And this is going to be what I'm looking at, right? We come up here, I'm still like, oh, yikes, right? Might continue the downtrend. And if we come down first, I will be looking for potential bounces here. But again, they would still have to be based off money flow, looked at as lower highs and potential lower lows to come. That's my general bias, guys. I don't want to overcomplicate it here. Now, right now, we are tapping into some local resistance as well. I don't want to break things down too nitty gritty here. But right now, we are kind of approaching this local value area high. Whoops, let me get this fib out of here. We are approaching this local value area high. This is like a pretty low time frame level. I wouldn't say breaking above this is super, super, super key. But again, I would really be looking at the larger profile here because that 8-hour green dot could give us the continuation up, but don't get it twisted. We have massive resistance up here. So yeah, I hate to be the guy. Don't shoot the messenger, or don't hate the messenger. I'm just giving the information. Save me, Frankie. Shout out to Panty Hamster. Hold on to your panties. Bitcoin is, oh God, monthly chart looks good in my opinion. Long since 50K. Shout out to Mikey20. Shout out to Mikey20. Yeah. And again, I do want to be clear here, guys. I am not bearish on Bitcoin long term, right? Even if maybe we bounce here, we heat up, that would be the best case scenario. Again, money flow does not call for that. However, I would agree, right? The monthly, right? We have the monthly green dot confirmed. And then on the Heikinashi candles, it's not all doom and gloom here. But we do have the monthly Heikinashi green dot printing, right? It's not that you can't get little corrections to the downside, but typically with these monthly green dots and the 2-day money flow crossovers, we do typically see that give us a pretty big leg to the upside. Whether it happens from here or we have to go down for a little bit more of a retest of lower levels, you could very easily still continue up even if we do get that bigger retracement. So I am not bearish on Bitcoin. I do not think the bear market is here. But, short to medium term, right? We try to call these moves day to day like we have this week. Again, even yesterday or the day before, the 16 and the 16 hour and the daily look bearish, but we're not looking for zero, right? We're just looking for that bigger retracement down. That's where we just look at the local levels. Like, hey guys, get stuck inside this volume profile. Money flow is pointing towards a correction down, right? Or a continuation down. And we have that volume profile to give us that beautiful guide. Now we're holding support on the POC golden pocket. If we do put in the lower high here, right? Or even here, I would be looking down to that value area low. And we'll take it day by day. There's new information on the chart every single day. But long term, I would say that monthly green dot and 2-day money flow crossover is still technically in effect here. And every other time, I've done this many a times this week, every other time we've seen that happen, guys, just to kind of like show you in the past that not everything is just like, up in a straight line forever. It doesn't mean that Bitcoin's going to go to zero, right? Like 2-day money flow crossover, you can see here, we got the move to the upside, but you also had a 6.5% pullback and then another almost 10% pullback, right? Didn't mean Bitcoin was going to zero. It just meant like you have to have some kind of corrections come in here sometimes. And it could be a similar situation, right? Even if the correction is going to be a little bit more aggressive. So yeah, like money flow is always king, right? You have the red dot here. The problem here is we do have slightly mixed signals. 2-day money flow is in the green, but your 3-day money flow is crossing into the red, right? And like I said yesterday, this is a pretty difficult spot for Bitcoin, right? It's like you have some high time frame bearish signals, weekly bearish divergence, weekly red dot. You have all the higher hourly time frames continuing into the red here with money flow as well. 16-hour headed towards that zero line. Your 12-hour money flow coming towards that zero line. 10 hours crossed over into the red, which again, it's not happening exactly as that weekly red dot is printing, but if that weekly red dot prints, these 10-hour money flow crossovers can easily give you a continuation down. It's kind of like a market cipher B116 strategy. And then you have your 8-hour money flow crossing into the red. So it's just like if we want this range to break to the upside, you really want to see money flow doing the opposite of what's doing right now, right? You want to see it in the red crossing into the green. That would make me very, very, very bullish at the lows here for a continuation of that trend to the upside. But we don't have that on the charts, right? We're literally doing the opposite, right? We're crossing into the red, making it more likely that that trend or range will break to the downside, which is in line with rejecting the macro 786. It's in line with all the money flow on the lower time frames, and it is also in line with the potential weekly red dot printing and that bearish divergence. We'll see if we print it on Sunday. I would say as of right now, it's looking likely unless we get some kind of giga candle to the upside over the weekend. But yeah, this is my sentiment, guys, and I'm gonna stick with it. If we break out, that's great. I would love that. I hope this is one of those few times where I hope the TA is wrong. But every time we say that, we're typically the TA is right. But let's see. Shout out to Chris Walker, said inverse head and shoulders. Yeah, I would say this looked a little more like an inverse head and shoulders, right? Maybe. I don't trade patterns. I do pay attention to them for like direction or maybe like measuring technical targets. But yeah, maybe you have some kind of an inverse head and shoulders there. I'm not a big pattern guy. But yeah, it doesn't mean I don't look at them. I say this all the time, right? Like, it's not that I don't look at them, right? But it's like I don't trade based off them, right? Like everyone points to like, oh, cup and handle, and like do those play out more often than they don't? Yes. But if the charts look bearish, right? Because you could be indifferent, you have to understand the environment, right? And I hope if there is an inverse head and shoulders there, hopefully it just, hopefully it just breaks you out, right? But at the end of the day, right, like if you have an inverse head and shoulders, right, and then, the charts look really bearish, the chances of it playing out like a typical inverse head and shoulders is less likely than when you have an inverse head and shoulders, right, and you have a bullish sentiment, right? Like if you have money flow coming up on the higher time frames, things are all looking bullish, and you have an inverse head and shoulders, that is going to be a higher probability of that head and shoulders playing out, right? They're not all going to play out. A lot of people won't look at the, patterns that don't play out, right? They only point it out when they do play out, right? And it's always just anything in TA, right? It's just a puzzle piece that you're trying to add into your analysis. I could try to find like inverse head and shoulders that faked out here. I'm not going to spend too much time looking for them. But yeah, like if you have like strong bottom signals and a head and shoulders, that's much more, or inverse head and shoulders, that's much better for a move to the upside. But hey, hopefully, again, I wouldn't say I'm a big pattern guy, but, if there's an inverse head and shoulders, hopefully it plays out. Praying for those spot bags to go up. The altcoins, man, the altcoins. Let's see. Shout out to Mabel, said, let's see. Drop those LSs in the chat. Shout out to Captain Kirk, welcome in. Crypto Billy, welcome in. Shout out to the mods, guys. I forgot to say this. Show the mods some love. They help us out endlessly with this YouTube channel, and some of them help out with the giveaway. So if you ever got a giveaway, show some love in the chat. I hope we don't go lower than 90K for now. Yeah, I would. That's kind of where I get a little bit more nervous, right? Not that I would get like nervous, right? But 90K would be our macro value area low. I don't know why this line is not here anymore. Let me go ahead and mark that out, right? Like macro value area low sitting here at about 90,500. We also have the golden pocket. I actually think I have this sitting right here. Yeah, we also have a golden pocket retracement there. The fib isn't there right now, but, or a 786 with the value area low, and I believe there's a daily MPOC there as well, right? So, coming down here, technically, is still a place where you can bounce. We do have areas to bounce here, guys. So, you don't just want to get shaken out at the wrong time, in my opinion, right? Could this thing dump down to zero? Maybe, but I'm not necessarily anticipating that, right? Like, even if we come down 97K zone, maybe we lose it, we flip it around a little bit, send it back to the upside, we lose that POC golden pocket, you're looking down towards the 786 value area low. Two reasons to look down there, because you lose the golden pocket, you're anticipating the 786 at 90K, right? You lose the POC, you're expecting the value area low at 90,500. So this is a big level, and this is kind of, although not the last level that we could bounce off of, I don't want to have to deal with the full Fibonacci retracement, guys. If we're going to pull the full fib from the low at 75K to the high, the golden pocket does sit here just below the value area low. But once we start losing this value area low, guys, technically that 786 is the line in the sand, right? You lose that 786, you're anticipating a break of structure to the downside. It's going to be a difficult situation to navigate, though. I hope we do not have to deal with that. I would much prefer bounce off one of these more local levels, right? And we'll cover these lower levels as they become more relevant, right? Like right now, we are literally 21% away from that. So we'll cover that if and when we have to. But yeah, I would say like losing this general $90,000 zone is a little bit more bearish. But technically, the line in the sand here for me personally is 82,300. Those 786s are oftentimes lines in the sand, right? Because it will invalidate the idea of an overall higher low coming in to continue that bigger trend to the upside. Once you lose it, you're anticipating the break of structure to the downside, right? Kind of similar to what we're looking at over here, right? If you get above this 786, that invalidates the idea of the high probability lower high. If you're going to put a lower high in, it is likely to come in between the golden pocket or the 786. In this case, the 786. If we were able to hold support above here, right, and close that weekly candle above there, which is obviously not the case right now. It's not looking very good. Again, Hail Mary, Bitcoin. Come on, baby. Just whip it down the field. But the, like if you hold above this, that invalidates the idea. If that's where you're looking for your high probability lower high, and you flip that to support, that's where you get the bigger move to the upside. And this is where we compared this to the macro. When we got the last big dump to the downside, we pull from the high to the low. If you're looking for a lower high, technically this was our bigger level based off of other forms of analysis, such as the macro POC, the massive high volume node we had there, which was the POC. But between there, like the golden pocket, the 786 is the high probability area to put a lower high in at. But what happened there, right? We got above the golden pocket. We had money flow coming into the green on the daily, which was really nice, making us anticipate the continuation up. And then that was your last line to resist, right? But what happened? We got above there, held it as support, closed all the daily candles up there, and we also held the weekly candles up there as well. And what happened? We put it in a new all-time high as we expected. Somebody just knock on my door? I think I'm hearing stuff, guys. This Bitcoin price action's got me going crazy. But it's the same kind of theory there, right? So, again, that's very far away. We'll cross that bridge if and when we have to get there. But, even these levels, right? Like these lower levels, 97K is big support. We can look down towards these lower levels if we have to. But for now, I'll be looking at this profile. Feel free to copy these levels if you guys want to get this range on your chart. Value area low, 102,357. POC, 103,982. And then the value area high at 107,707. So, yeah, this is the range I'll be looking at over the weekend. Probably just going to bing bong around in here unless we break out of this big level and start flipping the anchored VWAP from the high. It's honestly not looking that good, guys. Man, I wish I could just say it's going up. It's going up. It's just going to rip, guys. It's just going to rip. Let's see. Shout out to Radarol. Shout out to you, bro. Said I like the stream because I like Frankie, the best analyzer. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for being here. Let's see. This is the longest $3,000 uptrend I've ever seen in Bitcoin. Shout out to Vegas Claw. P-Dub actually was saying in the premium Discord, everybody let me know how long you've been looking at the Bitcoin chart, guys. And I realized that I am creeping up on almost 10 years of looking at the Bitcoin chart, which is crazy. About 9 years of looking at this chart. That's crazy to think of. Let's see. We got Ang in the chat, or AANG. I don't know exactly how to say that. What is going on, bro? We got Fed Bomb saying alt season is dead. Again, looking at Bitcoin dominance. Let's actually check in on this real quick. Bitcoin dominance. Actually, let's pull it up over here. BTC.D. This is where we have all the TA, right? Bitcoin dominance, guys. Oh, man. Oh, man. Very similar, right? This 786 was the place that you want to put in that lower high, right? Holding support above this level is not going to be bullish for altcoins. If we hold above this 786, it does technically open the door to our macro 786 at 66.21%. Not good for alts, right? We need that rejection from this zone. We got a little bit of a pullback, but again, the PLC always acts as a magnet for price or dominance at this point, or in this situation. So, yeah, I mean, unless we can really get the dump off that fib level, guys, like breaking above this level, that's where you would expect the lower high, which is what you would want for a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low to get that dump on dominance towards the value area low, which would help us get closer to what we need for a real alt season to come in, which in my opinion would be losing this value area low and dumping on out of the range like we've done in the past. All right, you come on down here, your money flow crosses over into the red. You're saying, well, hey, maybe this trend's going to break to the downside, kind of similar to what I just looked at on that range for Bitcoin, right? Like if you're seeing the bounces here at the value area low, sure, that's support. But if your money flow is coming out, the trend is likely to continue down, right? Not get a massive rip to the upside. So this is kind of what we need. And I will say, like, looking at the money flow here, we are getting the trend generally to the downside. You're getting a little bit of a daily green dot here. So, you know, I would kind of look for a similar thing here on dominance. Like if you can close that weekly candle below that 786, that would be a decent sign, right? But you do not want to break that 64.75% level, right? Because it just invalidates that lower high, which makes it much less likely we're going to come down to that value area low, which is literally what you need for altcoins to pump. So yeah, and then looking at Total 3 real quick, we've been checking in on this stuff a little bit more recently because I've been getting a lot of questions about it. You know, rejection at the value area low, like we still need Total 3 to creep on up here. And again, long term, right? It's not necessarily mean that we're going to go to zero and everything's going to go to zero. Like maybe it will, but you know, we could just kind of work our way around here. You know, on Total 3, if you pull your fib from the high to the low, technically, you know, you could even come and play in here before getting that bigger move up, getting accepted into your range, and then seeing everything kind of rise. So, yeah, not too much to update there other than Bitcoin dominance, you know, trying to creep back up above that, currently sitting above that local 786, which is not the best sign, in my opinion, for altcoins. Let's see. Shout out to Jimmy OD, said, hey, Frankie, do you have a video explaining how to use hedge mode on Femex? Wasn't as easy to figure out as I thought. Thanks. Shout out to Jimmy. Tony D, if you could drop the Femex video in the chat. I believe in that video I do cover all the modes. I do cover hedge mode, but at the end of the day, if you have hedge mode activated, essentially what that does is it allows you to open 2 trades on one asset, one in either direction, right? So you can have a long open on Bitcoin, but typically if you don't have hedge mode on, right, and you try to, you know, short, right, it's just going to affect your current trade. But if you have hedge mode on, you'll hold that current long where it's at, right, and then it will open up a new position in the opposite direction. And so that way you can go long and short at the same time. So yeah. And if you want to try to like play around with that without like messing anything up, Femex has a great demo mode feature that is a 1-to-1 simulation of the actual exchange. So if you click on that, you could kind of just go in there with the fake money and just open up a random long and then turn on hedge mode and open up a short and kind of see how it works without actually, you know, potentially messing up a trade. So there you go. Low 90s is the lowest. Yeah, shout out to 999 forever. I would agree with that. Can't find fixed range volume profile vid that talks about MPOCs. Thought I saw, shout out to Ace. They're 2 different videos. They're 2 different videos. I believe they both live in the beginner series. One of them is the volume profile tutorial, and the other one I think is, I forget the title of it. Tony, if you can update them on that as well. The MPOC video, if you could drop that in there as well, that'd be great. But it does live there. I show you exactly how to pull out the MPOCs on TradingView. More often than not, I am looking at the, like this MPOC here that I'm looking at about 106, almost like 107K, right? This is the level that's confluent with our local value area high, right? I could see if this is the exact level on TradingView. So let's see, like right here. So let me come on over to the daily and see if that TradingView, sometimes they do vary slightly. So let me pull up the MPOCs here. Usually they're pretty close. Yeah, I mean, TradingView has it up at about 107.7. Doesn't mean that this level is like not important, right? But we're just looking at it as a value area high. You know, the ExoCharts MPOC is a little bit lower there, and I do tend to find those a little bit more accurate. But again, you're not that far off there with the TradingView ones, right? And if you don't have access to something like ExoCharts, like this is what you can use. Like they're definitely still valid. Sometimes like you just get more MPOCs, which kind of adds a little bit more noise to the chart. You could change like the tick size and stuff on exo charts. I won't get fully into it, but yeah, you could just see they're slightly different, but it still gives you a general idea of where that's sitting at. So yeah, let's see. And I even show you how to set it up on a nice little template here as well in that video, I believe, right? So not only you're not going to have to go into the settings all the time. I show you how to put the, like right here, MPOCs. If I want to see where the weekly MPOCs are, for example, on TradingView, I just go ahead and click my MPOC template, and then boom, I grab a horizontal ray, and I just go ahead and mark them off and label them, right? And I show you exactly how to do that. So yeah, let's see here. Shout out to Crypto Billy, said BTC is almost all of it. That's my point. Oh, I don't know. I missed that conversation. Shout out to Crypto Billy. What is going on, bro? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, bro. Let's see. I gave up on alts and ETH. Now it's going to pump. Shout out to Felix. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right, let's take a quick look at Ethereum. We'll keep an eye here on the Bitcoin price action as it develops. I'll just put an alert here above the high in case we start popping to the upside, which again, like short term, could you get the bounce off the medium and higher hourly time frame green dots? Sure. Again, you do have the 8-hour green dot looking to print, right? So short term could get the push to the upside, break above this level, right? Push into this zone, potential lower high. So yeah, that would be the big zone I'd be looking at between about 107 to 100 and call it 108K. And if you want the actual levels and you just tuned in, scrub to the beginning of the stream. I go over them in detail. Let's see. Red dot's gonna print. Yeah, shout out to Money Flow. Yo, let's go. Money Flow is king. And obviously, guys, like the geopolitical situation, like news, it's hard, guys. Sometimes like this news is like it's kind of like a fear drop to the downside before you get a massive pump. Is it over, right? Is that all we're gonna see? Again, the charts would point towards a bigger drop to the downside if that comes along with the fear of the geopolitical tensions. You know, it would make a lot of sense. And I will say, like, you know, a lot of times that it's kind of like just like one news dump, right? And then you start to recover. I would say from a chart perspective, in the cards, right? Short term bounce, sure. Longer term could continue to the downside until we start cracking some of those key levels of resistance that we just went over. Let's see. Wish I would have taken some profit on the alts on the last pump. Shout out to Satoshi Glakamoto. We were looking at Tia earlier today. Tia getting absolutely cooked. Absolutely cooked. That's TARS. I was going to say, it doesn't look that bad anymore. Yeah, Tia just absolutely cooked here. Finally showing a little bit of life with a green candle. But yeah, a lot of alts are getting crushed. Let's see. And that's the other thing. Chris brought up retail. This isn't his exact point, but I talked about this earlier today in the premium. I just, like, you know, people are asking me, right, like, why don't you think it's the top of the cycle? And, you know, it's the same thing as down here. Like, if we had the rate cuts come in, if we saw massive retail interest and all we could get was this level, with the bearish confirmations that we're seeing, like, maybe I'd be a little bit more worried. But, like, in my opinion, guys, like, retail has not re-entered yet, right? We got little glimpses of them on the pumps, right? When things are exciting, Bitcoin's making new all-time highs. But at the end of the day, right, it's nothing compared to what we've seen in previous cycles, which kind of makes no sense, right, based off adoption, right? Like, technically, over time, more people are going to know about Bitcoin. You would think that interest would go up. So it's part of the reason why I did think that the top was coming in here at 69K, one of the big warning signs other than the technical bearish divergences and liquidity sweeps that we had up there. We also had a bearish divergence on the retail sentiment, right? Like search term analytics are making a lower high as price is making a higher high. If less people are searching Bitcoin, why are we making a higher high? That's the discrepancy that you look for. We just haven't seen that massive retail influx yet. Are they just not going to come this cycle? I don't know. I just think it's less likely. Not impossible. Retail is broke. Yeah, true, FedBomb. I think retail does have a lot less money than they have in the past cycles. That's something to take into account as well. I think that's 100% an arguable point. But start printing that money, right? Like, even if it has to get a little bit bloody here, you know, once they start cutting those rates, you know, hopefully that's one of the conditions that we've always had in a massive bull market, right? We need those conditions to be met for the massive blow off top. And, you know, just be careful, right? If we do put in massive new all-time highs, Mrs. Candles coming in with the Aztec and Cactus Moss Water. Thank you so much. Let me get a sniff on that candle. I mean, that hand. Mrs. Candles, we need this sniff to be good. Does the hand smell good today? You said it was going to go up? Yeah, you were wrong. Sorry. Okay, one more. Okay, hopefully that helps, guys. I don't know. Mrs. Candles thought it was going to pump yesterday, and it dumped. Usually she's right, though. But anyway, yeah, I do think retail having less money right now, and again, like, it has to do, Like, we need that the same conditions need to be met, in my opinion, right? Like, we get the rate cuts, that's when things can change very fast. That's why if we get some black swan event or we get some massive dumps to the downside, all it takes is a money printer to go brrr, and then we send it to the upside. Retail comes back in, blow off top, people have more money, etc. That's where you can start pushing into the massive new all-time highs. And before we move on to ETH, I will just point out, guys, massive bull market targets that I will be looking at are going to be, let me go ahead and hide this real quick. Bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing. Massive targets, in my opinion. The biggest bull market targets. We have local targets to the upside, right? We have the 113 to about 120K above us. But when we're talking about like high time frames, cycle top situations, a lot of people probably aren't going to like this. Now, I could be a moon boy. We do have upper targets here, but just understand, if we do, our first major target for the bull market was between 91 and 102K. We came up in there, got our first, not our first, but a bull market correction of about 31%, nothing that sketchy, right? We see that happen in bull markets all the time. If we're able to get that next big breakout to our next fib level, guys, it sits between, I would say, the next major target sitting at about 137K. If we can make it up to 137-ish K, this is a big area where I'm taking a lot of profit, right? Doesn't mean that I'm guaranteeing that we can't go up to 155, 200K, but a lot of people are going to be looking for that. And just like everyone was looking for 100K last cycle, we got nowhere near it, right? Maybe this time is different, but those people come around every single cycle, and so far, they've been wrong every single time. The bulls and the bears. This time's different. We're going to 10K. Didn't get it. This time's different. We're going to 100K. Didn't get it, right? So just be aware. This is a huge level of resistance between 100 and, I would say, 120 and about 137K. First major target, similar to our first target here, which got hit perfectly. And we looked at this forever, right? Ever since we put in the bear market low, we were looking at that target. And look at the reaction that we got. So could be very similar here. We'll assess the price action as price pushes in. If it looks mega bullish and money flow's coming up and things look great and the conditions are good, maybe we go up. But you have to be careful because it's in those moments where everything seems good. The news is, oh my God, Bitcoin's the next biggest asset ever. Oh my God, it's going to the moon. It's going to $1 million, right? That's usually what happens at all-time highs. And when you see the bullish news start to flood the market, it's like, wow, this thing's never going to go down. Like, this is great. When you start feeling really good, be careful because this is what makes people round trip their entire bag. But your boy Frankie Candles will let you know what the charts are actually looking like up there. If it looks bullish, I'll be there to let you guys know. If it looks like we're going down, unfortunately, for me, I'll be the one to say that as well. They hated me over here. They hated me. But we wound up being right. So I'd rather be right and hated than just tell people it's going up forever and have people lose money. My main goal is to help the Candle Mafia navigate these markets, navigate these charts. That is my main goal. I'm not here to just shill hopium forever, right? We do like to give a little dish of hopium once in a while, though. Let's see. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. When 500K, shout out to Aman. I'm not looking for 500K this cycle. Is it possible? Anything is possible. You could say that, right? But yeah, it's definitely not my first target. It's not even like, yeah. I mean, hopefully we get to 200K, but again, depends on what happens up here. We have to wait, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, you get to 130K, 137K-ish. Massive mainstream headlines. This bank says target for Bitcoin is 500K. They said that back here. I think it was JP Morgan. I wish I could find the news article. I forget who it was, but like big institutions saying like Bitcoin was going to 500K, and everyone was just like riding that. It's just like, prices go up and down. Doesn't mean we're not going to 500K. I think we'll go to 500K, $1 million plus. I just don't know if it's going to be this cycle. But yeah, I like to try to keep it realistic. Usually the ones with the conservative, realistic targets are the ones that are a little closer, at least, to calling, not calling the top, but understanding where that top is more likely to come in. Let's see. I expect one more last bull around October. Potentially. Timing is very hard to call. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Price action's choppy, confusing. I wish it was just as easy as, it's up in a straight line, which you could argue, over a long enough time frame. Like, this has pretty much been up in a straight line. Like, we're definitely in a Bitcoin bull run. Again, help me stay bullish on the August 5th dump. Help me stay bullish on the April dump. No reason. This is a clear uptrend. Low, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. Especially because those bullish confirmations came in on the 786, which is the area where you'd be looking for a higher low before putting in a new all-time high, which we got. Lackluster all-time high, but all-time high indeed. Let's see. We will go up. Shout out to Big Red. I 100% agree with you. I do believe we'll go up. I do believe we'll go to $1 million. I just don't think it'll happen tomorrow. Hopefully we go up tomorrow. I don't think we're going to hit $1 million tomorrow, though. this run goes into early 2026, yeah, potentially we could see a little bit of an extended cycle. Again, if I see the signs that don't call for that, I'll react off that information, but definitely possible. You could see a little bit of a right translated cycle this time around. Also depends on, like, a black swan could kind of like put a little if you get some kind of crazy black swan dump, it could put a little wrench in things timing-wise. So, the cycles aren't always going to line up perfectly timing-wise, but they usually are very, very close. So there you go. Now, let's go ahead and jump on into Ethereum really quickly here, guys. We got the push into the daily. We got the rejection. We looked at this on the past couple of live streams, right? We had the bearish divergences forming into the previous daily that we had, which was literally at this exact same level, but we also created a new daily level at the same time. The previous daily was coming from right here, literally the exact, 28.19, like literally almost the exact same level. But we did get that previous daily to come in with our bearish divergences here on the 1 hour time frame as we were pushing up higher highs. And then you have your lower highs and your momentum waves. Money flow starts to come out. And then on the way back down, what did we look at, guys? What did we look at? We gave these levels yesterday saying, hey, if you are going to come down, make sure you're paying attention to these key levels with your volume profile down below. Break down below that value area high at 2660. Let me just draw these levels out real quick, right? POC, or value area high, POC, value area low. I should have left the line there, right? If we do get the dump, right, look for that value area high, get stuck inside the range. POC is next, lose the POC. Maybe you get the full rotation of the volume profile. And this range has low-key been very reliable. Deviate below the low, back into the range, back up to the high, deviate the high, go back to the low, back to the high, back to the low, back to the high, back to the low, back to the high, deviation, back to the low. So, and what do we hold? We have the daily MPOC down here, which is now tapped. Very, 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 very technical there, right? Right into the daily MPOC, anchored VWAP. That was our key level of support. Lose that, we were looking down to the POC, but right now we're holding that anchored VWAP, daily naked point of control, value area low, right? Very nice. Looking at the local levels to anticipate what price is going to do in the meantime. But if our money flow continues to cross over into the red here on the 12-hour, etc., same thing as Bitcoin. This looks very similar, obviously. Get rid of that brush. 4-hour money flow about to cross over back into the red, or kind of faking back out into the green, honestly. But yeah, like these higher time frame money flow technically coming out, 6-hour rolled over to the red, 8-hour coming down. We get a green dot. Technically, holding this anchored VWAP is nice. But money flow wise, if that money flow continues into the red, you got to be careful of the lower highs and the lower lows. And same thing here. I would just pay attention to this volume profile, right? If we pull our fib, let's say I'm going to pull 2 fibs, one from the high to the low, one from this lower high to the low. So I would probably be paying attention to this one right here. Let me get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. Bada boom. Got your POC. Got your value area low. Right, and I'll even hide the larger profile. Obviously very important to pay attention to. But just to kind of look at this as local levels. Here's your volume profile locally. At the end of the day, value area low is always going to be support, as it was. So right now, POC, value area high, would be the biggest resistance level that I would look at, and I would also put a focus on this 786 golden pocket retracement. It's not the full retracement level, but it is confluent with the value area high. So if we come back in here, right, you have to be careful of potential lower highs before lower lows based off money flow. Money flow trying to fake out back into the green here, but watch that because you might just fake out back into the red. And then the full fib obviously pulled from the high. Does give you, somewhat similar confluence up there. Technically, the level to break here to look for 3,000 to 3,150, our upper target, would be the break of the 786 at 2787. So there you go. That's your local range to look at, and we'll just see how money flow develops here over the weekend. I don't typically trade over the weekend, so I'm just going to let things develop here. Actually took a loss yesterday and a win yesterday. I almost broke even. I actually lost a little. Yesterday was a little bit of a red day for me, trading wise. So I'm just going to kind of relax, reset, and just watch these key levels and see how price action develops. So, but yeah, very nice to see that play out. If you were here on the stream last night, literally what we looked for. I'd be careful on that bounce based off the high time frame money flow, right? 2-day red dot looking to print also would be a 2-day bearish divergence. Daily red dot is printing with the daily bearish divergence. That's about to confirm. Almost is confirmed already. 3-day looking for a red dot. Weekly looking for the red dot. Monthly green dot still printing here, though. So definitely have some mixed signals on the higher time frames, but those would be the local levels I'm looking at. And if you get that 8-hour green dot, just look for the pullback up into these key levels, right? This purple box is sitting between 2701 and 2637. Oh, yo, shout out to Golden. Let's go. Shout out to Golden. Give him those 50 Frankie Candles memberships. Let's get it, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Golden the GOAT, bro. Unbelievable. If you just got one of those Frankie Candles memberships, go ahead and drop a golden emoji. You'll have access to that now if you go to your emojis. Drop a golden emoji. Start that golden shower. The golden waterfall. Sorry, guys. It's just very, very... just comes out of the mouth. Drop those golden emojis. Start that golden waterfall for our boy. Shout out to Golden. Hope you're doing well, bro. And so sad I didn't get to see you in Vegas, bro. And everybody else got to see you, man. But yeah, shout out to Golden, bro. Welcome in. Good to see you, man. And thank you for gifting those memberships. Drop those golden emojis in the chat. Let's go. Come on. Come on. I'll drop some too. I'm dropping some golden emojis. Come on. Tony, don't ban the guy Frankie Candles in the chat. He's not a scammer. He's not trying to sell gold. He's just showing some love to gold. No, don't drop the shower heads. Shout out to Bitfrog. But yeah, there we go. Erica said took a while. Yeah, I didn't see that. I was diving into the charts. Shout out to Golden, bro. Thank you so much. You're, bro. Golden is something else, bro. Golden is something else, bro. Let's see here. Golden's the man. Absolutely. Shout out to Big Huggies. Is it worth it to buy hype? Shout out to Lucas. As a general question, no. I would never. I mean, you could just go back in hindsight if this is what you're kind of asking. I mean, you just go in hindsight, right? Massive hype, right? And even if you were to buy in on this massive hype in November, right? Obviously, we all know this was ripping to the upside, right? Like, could you have FOMO'd in here and made some money? Yes. But would you have taken profit, right, or been prepared to potentially anticipate that pullback, right? Like, generally, it's always going to be better, and this is why most people lose money in crypto, right? It's like, it looks like a good idea. Could you buy here and it keeps pumping? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you're going to be much better off just kind of staying calm and waiting for a bigger pullback and getting a much better entry, right? So, could you buy hype and make money? Sure. But it's very hard to anticipate, like, especially if you don't know what you're looking at on the charts. Maybe you do. I don't know. But, yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's like, we just got everybody really excited here. It's like, I'm never buying up here, right? I'm never buying up here. I'm never buying up here. Very rarely will I even take a breakout trade on a lower time frame, like a day trade or something. Very rarely. But when I take breakout trades, I'm keeping a close eye on volume, order flow. There are things that I can see inside the candlesticks and just based off volume to make a high probability call on an actual breakout being a legit breakout. But what most people do is they just wait for the hype, they buy into the hype, and then they just wind up getting absolutely wrecked to the downside. So, even here, oh my God, buy the hype, right? You could have made some money, but then, like, would you have been able to hold through all that, right? Like, even if you bought in on the breakout of this high, right? Like, you're getting back down to break even here. So, I guess at the end of the day, you're still kind of getting the same entry price, but yeah, in my opinion, right, like the time to buy is on the way down, right? Understanding the context of the market, right? You're not going to want to just start buying like, at the beginning of a bear market. You might want to wait to get the best bang for your buck. But it takes a long time to kind of understand the charts. But if you watch Frankie Candles, I just kind of tell you what's likely to happen. And yeah, if you've been in the Candle Mafia since the bear market came in here, we just waited for that weekly money flow crossover into the red to start dollar cost averaging in. That's what we did. And we have a nice little entry price down here at the bottom of the bear market, because we saw in the past that not many a times, every other time, weekly money flows in the red, right? That's buying the bottom of the bear market, massive run. Weekly money flow in the red, buying the bear market, black swan, sure, but, massive bear market, massive run. Weekly money flow crosses into the red, you get the big dump, start buying the lows, boom, right? So, yeah, that's usually the best time, right? At this point, what are you doing? You're buying like a peak on weekly money flow, literally the opposite of what you would want to do. So, yeah, I would say try to generally avoid buying into hype. Buying the red, selling the green. Shout out to MK Crypto. It is that simple, but I will say it is probably not going to be that easy for most people, right? Simple is different than easy. I always say going to the gym is very simple. Like getting in shape, very simple. Getting jacked, very simple. Work out, eat right, sleep right, drink a lot of water. Simple. Having the consistency to go to the gym every day, drink a lot of water every day, eat right every day, don't cheat on your diet is the hard part, right? So simple is not the same as easy. So yeah, buy low, sell high mostly. But yeah. Let's see. All right, so let's go ahead. We took a look at Ethereum. If you guys want to see your favorite altcoins, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I didn't see Rob today. Darren, if you want to do the alt list, or Kembro, maybe you guys could, I don't know, now both of you guys might do it. I will just do Kembro. Kembro, if you want to do the alt list, actually, dang. I don't know. Somebody give me an alt list. I don't know if like who comes in and leaves. But let's see. Buying the green, Sell in the red for max gains. Shout out to Jency. Let's go. I just basically what I do, guys, I just buy the top, I sell the bottom. That's the best way to do it. People think, money's just a psyop, right? Really what you want to do is get the least amount of money possible. Shout out to Jency. All right. Shout out to Dave Digital said, Jim easy, trading hard, and I'm going to have pizza for dinner. It's time. Shout out to Dave. Let's go. Well, when you had discipline to go to the gym every day like Dave, you could cheat once in a while and have some pizza, especially if it's pizza. That's the best cheat. Let's see. It's so easy to sell in the red, but so hard to sell in the green. Absolutely. Shout out to Mr. Ethereum. I agree 100%. Wick589 wants to see the DXY. Shout out to Wick589. OG. Oh, one of the oest of Gs of the CandleMafia. Let's take a quick look at the DXY. I don't even think I have a marked up chart on this right now. I mean, so let's take a look here. Usually when we take a look at this, what I will do is break this on side by side with Bitcoin's weekly chart. Let me just hide some of this. Boom. So yeah, if we look at this weekly chart side by side, I mean, let's start here on the DXY, or the Dixie, as some people call it. Yeah, I mean, this daily money flow crossover into the red was one of the first things we looked for a bigger breakdown, which wound up being good for the move to the upside right here. You can see those are like beautifully in line, right? DXY starts breaking down. Bitcoin starts getting the move to the upside. And this is continuing to break down here. Let's take a look at the weekly. Weekly money flow crossover into the red. That is typically good as well. You can see back here. 2020, Dixie breaks down. 2021, this kind of... Yeah, I mean, I would say this is, it honestly doesn't look that bad. With the weekly money flow crossover into the red, monthly money flow coming out as well. This is going to take some time to develop. You just confirmed the weekly red dot last week. We'll see what happens this week on the candle close. Let's check some of these other time frames. 4-day money flow in the red, 5-day money flow in the red, 3-day money flow, kind of bing-bong and back and forth there. The 3-day money flow is very interesting. If 3-day money flow has been a bit weird. But yeah, I would say, monthly green dot. Yeah, that daily money flow, we haven't looked at the DXY in a long time, but back here in March when we looked at it, that money flow coming out here was good for the dump down on the DXY. I would say, money flow still kind of coming out here, to be honest, right? Like I would say it's generally trending to the upside, but we'll see. You do have a little bit of a potential daily bullish divergence here, which could potentially give Bitcoin a little bit of a spill, right? You got massive bull div on the DXY. Is it on the weekly as well? Yeah, little bull div here on the weekly for the DXY. Bear div on Bitcoin, right? This comes up. This could come down. So, yeah, shout out to Wick. I would say, again, that wouldn't necessarily mean bear market, but, yeah, I mean, weekly money flow in the red, that's typically decent for getting the bigger drop down on the DXY. So, we'll keep an eye on this. I used to check in on this a lot more. This is more of like a macro indicator, right? It's never really going to call like direct moves. But yeah, I mean, weekly money flow keeps going into the red here. Might not be, probably just going to bing bong around, but we really want that bigger breakdown, in my opinion. But money flow doesn't look too bad. 2-day money flow, 3-day money. Yeah, all this higher time frame money flow coming out. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. But yeah, and then you can see in 2022, we actually absolutely skyrocketed. We all know what Bitcoin was doing in 2022, right? You can see here, massive move up for the DXY. Weekly or 4-day money flow crossover into the green. You also have the weekly money flow crossover into the green. This would be somewhat of a bear market, right? Just like the weekly money flow crossing into the red for Bitcoin would call for a bear market, the weekly money flow crossing into the green for the DXY is a similar signal. That weekly money flow crosses into the green. Massive rip up on the DXY and a massive dump on Bitcoin, right? But right now, we have money flow coming into the red, which would be nice for a continued pump on Bitcoin, even if we have to pull back a little bit locally with this daily bullish divergence, right? Or even weekly bullish divergence, right? Maybe we put in a lower high, lower low. That would be great. But that would probably call for Bitcoin to come down before putting in a higher low and higher high. These are inversely correlated, right? So typically, not 100% of the time, but normally they are. So there you go. Shout out to Wake589. Those are my thoughts on the Dixie or the DXY. Let's go. Just playing the XRP HODL game. Shout out to Wick589. Me too. I've been playing the XRP HODL game since. I actually am happy with the way I played XRP. We could take a look at XRP real quick. But the I would say, yeah, like I've been playing the HODL game for XRP for quite some time. But I will say, I did stop. allocating money. Like, I have a pretty big bag of XRP already, so I did stop allocating fresh capital into XRP at some point, which wound up being a good decision. Granted, a lot of those coins that did go up when XRP wasn't going up came back down. But yeah, I've been playing this HODL game for a while. I do think XRP. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not one of the XRP people who are like, this is the only one. We're going to $1 million. Hopefully one day we do. But I am bullish on XRP just in general, right? I'm not going to give you the normal $10,000 target, the normal $100 target, at least for this cycle. But yeah, I mean, I could potentially see XRP running up this cycle. Oh, there we go. Ethereum getting the push up. 8-hour green dot looking to print. Come on, baby. But if we come on over to the actual XRP chart here, you guys know my upper targets here for this bull market. If we hopefully do go into all-time highs, which again, I do think will come at some point. Yeah, I mean, I'd be looking on, these are my targets, right? Like up here, 453 would be like the next local target. 554 would be like my first real big target for the bull market. And then if we can really start to get that thing to fly, looking up here between I would say between $8 and $15 on the high side, right? In the super bearish scenario, who knows? Maybe get bearish news again or something like that. Maybe come up a little bit lower to the first target, but hopefully there's an opportunity to come up here, right? But if the chart starts looking bearish here, like, I'm reacting off of that, right? Like, I make my decisions based off the charts, not based off of what, like, any community says or anything like that. I make my decisions based off the charts. But I would say Fibonacci extension-wise, could be looking up to between about $8 and $15, hopefully. So, yeah, shout out to Wick589, the XRP HODL gang. Let's go. Shout out to the XRP army in the chat. Let's see. XRP to be adopted by the aliens at the Federal Reserve. I thought I misread that. For their spaceship fuel, XRP to $10,000. Shout out to Wick589. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, guys, how are the aliens going to have their fuel? They're going to have to buy XRP. Let's see. Talk about there will be no alt season. Shout out to Hisham. Not impossible, but yeah, I mean, listen, if they print money, if they start QE, very likely that is the condition we need met. If there's no QE, I don't think there would really be the massive alt season that people are looking for unless we get QE, right? Or I shouldn't say unless, I would just say until, right? Like, they're gonna wind up starting QE, right? The question is when, right? When they do start that, that's when you're going to start to see the more risk on, not only more risk on assets as far as crypto, but also like the more risk on cryptos, right? The altcoins. That's where you really start to see that stuff fly. And we even talked about the Russell 2000 recently, the RTY. This is another thing that typically we will get a breakout on, right? It's pretty much like the altcoin market for the stock market, right? It's like the lower cap stocks. So, we see that happen. Very likely we will see an alt season, but it won't happen, in my opinion, until we get QE. That's my personal opinion, right? Could it be wrong if they print money and then people just don't buy risk on assets? Happens every time. Maybe it doesn't happen this time. I don't see why that would happen. But yeah, I would say no alt season until we really get QE. Let's see. Aliens equal Satoshi. Shout out to Loki. That would be the sickest scenario ever. I would love that. But here, looking at XRP here, real quick. Still key support down here, value area low. We've already tapped, but we do have the golden pocket sitting down here, $2 to $1.98, right? I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we cover this almost every day. Key level that we would want to hold if you did not want to see, or I shouldn't say not want to see, but like if you pull from your low to your high here, this 786 is the level you want to hold. If you can't hold this, I think it's more likely to come down and tap that golden pocket, right? Lose that golden pocket. 786 sits down here at 183. Lose that 786. I think you're down. You're in for probably a much bigger correction and potentially looking to take that low out here at $1.61. And if you do that, you could get trapped inside this volume profile for a much more bearish play out. But again, we're above support here, right? It's not until we lose that 786 that I'd be looking at those lower targets. Until now, you're trying for the life of you to hold on to that 786. You wicked, this is the 5-hour time frame, random time frame to look at. We'll take a look at the 4-hour. You wick below, close above, bing bonging around here. If you're going to put a higher low in, that's the place to do it to continue up towards your point of control. If you do get that big breakout, you will be looking up towards that point of control. You lose that 786 again, that golden pocket is the next level, right? Value area low is an honorable mention, but I don't know. You front ran that golden pocket on the first attempt. Maybe we do dip below there and come on down to about $2.01, all the way down to about this whole zone. Let me just mark out the whole zone. Sitting between 206 and 197, right? And then if we do that, we also talked about some of these higher time frames looking for potential bullish divergences, right? Potential daily. If we don't put the higher low in here to continue up, right, and we start breaking down below that 786, put the lower low into that golden pocket, could potentially get some kind of a daily bullish divergence down there, which would be a nice sign that you could get some kind of a bounce. And depending on money flow, if money flow starts coming up, maybe you could look for the overall continuation back through the profile. If money flow is not confluent, you could still look for the bounce off the daily bullish divergence, but you would just look at that as more of a lackluster bounce for lower highs and lower lows. But we'll have to cross that bridge. We don't know what it's going to look like down there. So yeah, that's XRP. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we cover it every day. Did we get the alt list? Let's see. Shout out to CandleMafia's John Cena said ICP. Shout out to the Insane Clown Posse. Let's go, baby. Crypto Billy said, I just want to see XRP to $10 for Anon and Wick. That would make my day. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Billy. I agree, bro. I agree. Let's go. Billy, do you hold any XRP? Let me know. Salt season. Shout out to Vegas Claw. Yeah. And another thing too, guys, is like people say that like this was a Bitcoin focused bull market, which obviously it has been, but this is not out of the ordinary. Typically, Bitcoin is the shiner, right? Like, Bitcoin is the one that steals the show. And then you don't see the blow-off top altcoin seasons until towards the end of the cycle, right? So that's another reason why, like, people are, I just think people lack a lot of patience in this, especially in crypto, right? Investing in general, right? Everyone wants to get rich overnight. But I think in crypto in general, we do have a much, much more impatient kind of outlook, right? But at the end of the day, right, like, it's not really until the end of those bull markets where you really start to see those true alt seasons, right? We've seen altcoins rip, but like that true alt season doesn't really come to the end of the cycle anyway. So like people always say, it's just Bitcoin's the only thing going up this cycle, and it's like that's pretty much like that's for the most part what happens, right? It's not that out of the ordinary. Yes, Frankie, since 2017, but not a huge bag. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Let's go, baby. And I know your not so huge bag is probably pretty big to a lot of people, but shout out to Crypto Billy. First time I bought XRP was in 2017, I believe, as well. It was either Litecoin, Ethereum, and XRP were the first coins I bought. I think XRP might have been the first. Shout out to Crypto Anon in the chat. Let's go, baby. He's smart. He has XRP in his wallet. Absolutely. Shout out to Anon. I think it's just, I don't think it's a bad... I'll just say it is one of my bigger bags. I'll say that. I think it's smart. Oh, check pin post. Thank you, Tony, or Tyler, actually. So let's jump into some of these altcoins. Pyth, HBAR, Tau, and Hype. I'm going to go backwards here. Let's go Hype first. Let's see. Hyperliquid. All right. You know what's really funny? You guys know that guy on Instagram, that comedian on Instagram that sings auto-tune? His name's Jay something. You guys probably seen him. That guy picked someone out in the crowd. Dude was wearing like a Gucci tracksuit, like the typical like crypto like stereotype guy. And he's like asked him what he did for a living, and he's like, I trade crypto. And he said, Jay was like, what should I buy? He was like singing, and the guy was like, Hyperliquid. And I looked at the date of that video posted. Bro, low key, like was telling people to buy Hyperliquid like down here, or maybe down here. And I was like, dang, that guy made a good call, like unintentionally. I don't know if he actually has a like a YouTube channel or anything. I was like, dang, that would have been a nice call. But anyway, let's take a look here. Let's pull up the VPVR real quick. Bada boom, bada bing. There we go. All right, so start marking some levels out here. Yeah, I mean, this thing ain't hurting too bad right now, at least on the daily. There's always going to be outliers, obviously. I mean, that's in every cycle as well, right? Sometimes everything is crashing, and then it's like one of the main comments that we get is like on big red days, people are like, why is Fartcoin pumping, right? It's like these random things just like pump out of nowhere. But here we go, right? So you do have this local area of value. This did work out. I feel like we might have looked at this recently. I don't have the chart of this. Chart is not the one we were looking at, but you get back into your value, POC value area high, nice break to the upside. And again, just like I was saying, when you're trying to anticipate if a range is going to break up or break down, money flow is a good indicator of that, right? So like as you approach the high here, what is your money flow doing? It is strongly trending to the upside, letting you know that the trend is much more likely to put in higher lows and higher highs, right? The overall anticipation of the trend, not that you can't get little pullbacks, right, would be for a continuation to the upside. So that's nice. We got the bigger breakout. We put in, I guess, a new all-time high here, it looks like. I will say daily bearish divergence is printing higher highs on your price action, lower highs on your momentum waves. So that could be a potential local top. Not really much of a range to pull here, to be quite honest. Like maybe you could take a look at something like this. Let's come on down to a lower time frame here real quick. So I would say, yeah, let me pull a fib here really quickly as well. Worth noting here, even with all your price action in the picture here, you do have a massive low volume gap below this low. I would say this low is going to be key to not lose, right? You lose that low, and I would even argue like maybe even shelf of volume really starts a little bit higher, but I would say this is absolutely key level. Because if you do wind up losing that low here, pretty big low volume gap. Fast moves up oftentimes lead to fast moves down. So if you do get a bigger correction here, you fill that profile in full, start losing this low, you can see, yeah, right there. Big start of that low volume gap. So quick move up could lead to a very fast drop back down to that value area high / high volume node. Pretty far away from that at this moment. So, but that is just an honorable mention. As I see that low volume gap, I have to mention it. I would say, you know, you can look at this range. It's not the prettiest, but it's not bad either. So yeah, you do have a daily bull div here, bear div, I'm sorry. So if you do pull back, see, you're probably coming into your Fibonacci retracement level right now. So yeah, this would be the area to put the lower high in at if you are going to get that pullback. So if you do put the lower high in, come on, and you come on down here, value area high would be your first level of support. And then you would hope, I'm going to look at see if we have any Fibonacci confluence there, right? This is just local. Let's pull from let's pull the full first. All right, let's pull to the impulse. So yeah, I would say that's your first real key level of support. If you want to continue an aggressive uptrend and you put that lower high in and you come down, that would be the first place to bounce. Second key level of support would be the 786 POC, right? And you also have this massive high volume node. So yeah, and then these would be like the first two biggest levels of support I would look at. Once you break below that POC, I would just be looking at the value area low, which hopefully, in the case of continuing up, you could just hold that value area and trade this as a typical volume profile. But if you break on out of here, lose this key level, I'm going to draw out this low volume gap real quick, because if you come into this low volume gap, I would say for the most part, it does run down to the value area high of the previous range. But I would say this is pretty much that low volume gap, right? So if you break back into this box, you might fill that very quickly. And it could also open you down to the value area low, because that's really where the next highest volume node is. So what I will do here is I'll put a little midline on that gap and then understand that it might be, if I had to guess exactly how that would play out, it would probably be, right? Fast drop, fast drop. If not, just a full fill very quickly. Same thing happened here, right? You stick around, big move up through the gap, stick around, big move up. So yeah, that is what I would look at here. Those are your key levels. I'm going to take that volume off the chart. We'll keep that low volume gap in there so we know it's there. So yeah, those are your local levels of support. I would be careful of a rejection here. If you break above that 786, this thing could continue off into new all-time highs. Target, for me personally, would be based off the Fibonacci extensions. Pull up so there you go, right? If we had been looking at this, my Fibonacci target would be 42,207 up to technically 4578, but you can see that first zone here, 43, and that's literally where you topped out at. So if you break that 786, next local level would be 4578. Flip above that, look into about 5190 up to 5514. So those are just some targets to the upside, but you got to get above that 786. If not, especially with the daily bear div, wouldn't be surprised if you get the rejection there to come back down to some of that support. So there you go. There's Hyperliquid. Let's see. Shout out to Gen Z, said AVAX needs some love. I will write that down here as an honorable mention. Shout out to Gen Z. We'll try to take a look at AVAX after we run through the rest of this list. We got Tau. I have a Tau chart marked up here. All right, so let's get our bearings here. Let's check in on chat real quick. Moon Wen, shout out to Oculus. Moon, I don't know. We'll just pick a random date. July 15th. I keep saying July 15th for that stuff. Firestream, shout out to Shib Army. Let's go. Shout out to Shib Army. Shout out to Crypto Lion in the chat. They didn't believe in us. God did. Shout out to DJ Khaled. All right, let's see. Pyth, yeah, we'll take a look at Pyth too. I'm just going to work backwards here. We have Tau, H-bar, and Pyth next. So yeah, taking a look at Tau, right? April low, deviated below the macro profile, right? And it's like really crazy. Tony D, we literally have to figure out a way to clip these live streams in a way where we can show what we looked for and what happened for educational purposes, not bragging rights. I hate that. When people are like, we called it. It's like, I just hate that, right? I do it to teach people, right? But you get above the value area low, into the POC, higher low, back above the POC. You're looking for that continuation into your value area high, where we had this local golden pocket retracement. These levels still remain the same from the last time we looked at them, right? You have your value area high sitting at 377, POC, which we're holding as support right now at 362, and then down here you have this confluent level with your golden pocket from the impulse to the high. Golden pocket value area low sitting right here between about 335.12 and 314.35. So if we get accepted into this range, can't break out, it would be nice to come down and tap this key level of support. But overall, I will say, if Bitcoin's going to go for the bigger retracement down to 97K, we could be headed a little bit lower, right? Because we've gotten the full fill of the range as you would expect, and we came up to that value area high. Did we have any of those bearish confirmations up there? You had some 1 hour bearish divergences, if I'm seeing that correctly. Yeah, you had some 1 hour bear divs into the value area high. This is where you want to be looking for shorts. Can't break out of the value area high. Next likely place for price to go is going to be that POC of the range, which sits all the way down here at about 252. It's not a guarantee, but again, if Bitcoin gets the bigger retracement, then we could be looking for, these would be like the local support levels. And then you break down below that, you have the 786 at about 280.65, and then the POC at about 253.21, right? These are big support levels. More significantly, right, if I pull this fib all the way to the low, you probably have POC confluence here on the golden pocket or 786. Yeah, I would say closer to the 786, but let's see. Yeah, I actually like this level here. So local levels remain the same. Local value area high 376.90, POC 363.34, and then the value area low golden pocket zone sitting here 314.35 to 335.12. And yeah, I would just, based off the volume profile, it's not a guarantee that you have to get the full fill, but, just be aware, you are coming down from the high. Full fill. POC could be in the cards. Lose the POC. Wouldn't be horrible. Horribly unlikely to see it would not be horribly unlikely to see that value area low come in. But again, you have chances to get higher lows and higher highs in here before that actually takes place. So yeah. And then overall, 12-hour money flow in the red, daily money flow trying to come out here. Nothing really too aggressive. 2-day red dot printing. Let's see, 5-day red dot. Yeah, money flow kind of and I would argue that this is probably your macro Fibonacci confluence on the value area high. No, not quite. It actually sits just above. We'll pull it to the lower high probably. Yeah. But yeah. That's kind of what I'd be looking at, right? Money flow looks kind of similar to Bitcoin. Nah, not really. It actually looks a little bit different. But again, if Bitcoin dumps, guys, the altcoins are very likely to follow, unless dominance comes down as well. Let's see. Shout out to Yangazi. Shout out to you, bro. Welcome in. 97K is that level. Anything below is Mario Brothers. Yo, shout out to Vegas Claw. Yeah, I would say like honorable mention. On Bitcoin to the downside. All we can really do is try to find out where there's like decent confluence. I would say below the 97K level, you have a 94K NPOC. This is very long term, right? No weekly level, no monthly level, no daily level. But I do believe this is confluent with I believe it is this golden pocket. Yeah. 94K golden pocket. And that's a level. Again, technically the 82.5 level is a line in the sand, but I don't want to have to deal with that, guys. That becomes a very sketchy situation. So I'm hoping we can hold the higher levels, but 97K is still one of the biggest levels on the chart to the downside. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Mendy, said we need to pump ASAP. Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the vibe of this stream is like Bitcoin needs to pull a Hail Mary and close above the 786 up here. Otherwise, let's see. Shout out to CF333. Shout out to Tony D, bro. We gotta ban that word, bro. How is that not banned in the chat? Don't ban him. Just ban that word, bro. That's crazy. Anyway, but yeah, it says close above 105. Moon. Yeah, I mean, if we do get a Hail Mary, I mean, let's see. Where are we at right now? 105.8. Yeah, it would be nice to get the daily close above the macro value area high. It's kind of a bullish candle. It's a bullish hammer candle. But again, it's just like we really got to start seeing all this money flow rip back to the upside, right? 8-hour green dot prints, obviously, as we showed locally, we will be looking for a continuation up towards these levels. But just understand, you do have a lot of resistance above and money flow fighting against you here. So if it's not that you can't moon from here, but the reason why the TA is not pointing towards that, because even if this green dot prints, right, we could push all the way up, maybe even to 108K, right? Or 109K, I believe, is the 786, right? Yeah, 109K. You know, even if you get a push up into this level, 8-hour green dot could give you an ever flow to the upside. But if that money flow does not shoot up into the green with it, that money flow continues out, you would have to be anticipating the higher probability being the lower high and the lower low. Hopefully it's not the case, right? Hopefully the money flow fakes out and we get the rip to the upside. But right now, that's how we have to view it on the way up until proven otherwise with that money flow. 4-hour money flow would probably be the first thing to kind of rip back up into the green. But it also has a higher probability of faking out. So we'll see. We'll see. If Bitcoin rips up and closes and gets us that weekly close above the 786 or even close to it, that would be amazing. That would be like the craziest escape of a bigger pullback than I've ever seen. But we'll see what happens. Let's see. Here, shout out to Assad said, that's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, man. Shout out to Tony D. Thank you for that. I'm surprised that has not been surprised we haven't gotten that before. Let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and move into our next altcoin, which is going to be HBAR, or Habar, as some people call it. We'll come over to the altcoin chart. HBAR. It's going to take me a second to find the chart. That's not it. There it is. All right, so let's get our bearings here. Come on over to the daily. I change this fib so I could take the labels off it just to make it a little cleaner. All right, let's see. Weekly. And again, like a lot of the altcoins, guys, like the sentiment's going to be the same, right? If Bitcoin rips, the altcoins can rip. They're all still holding support technically. Like none of these have broken like really key local levels just yet. So Bitcoin just moons. That's great. That'll be nice for the altcoins. But generally, if Bitcoin pulls back to that 97K level, we're probably looking lower. Let's see, 2-day red dot printing, 3-day red dot printing, 4-day VWAP below the zero line. Yeah, I do think the next big leg up on altcoins is very likely. I'm just going to run down the list here really quickly. Like monthly green dot is typically the sign, right? Monthly green dot here, massive leg up. Green dot here, massive leg up, right? Pepe, no monthly red dot, green dots, right? ADA, monthly green dot, push to the upside. Higher low, monthly green dot, higher high. Farcoin, no information. Ondo, no information. Virtuals, no information. Tau, no information. TIA, no information. Movement, no. Let me find something a little longer here. Monthly green dot, massive move to the upside. Higher low, monthly green dot, massive move to the upside. Right? So if we're going to put in these higher lows and continue those breaks of structure to the upside for the altcoins, at least as of right now, that monthly green dot might be the thing to look at. Shout out to Giga Longbottom. Thank you for the super chat. Hopefully that was not supposed to say anything. Giga, if you meant to say something in that, please just put it for free in chat. Don't get another. You don't have to get another super chat. But if you're just throwing dollar bills at your boy Frankie Candles, I'll take it. I might start dancing. I might start shaking it if you keep dropping those dollars. Shout out to Giga Longbottom. I might be shaking that Longbottom for you. Buy when there's fear. Shout out to Bio. Yes. And again, just like full disclaimer, just because money flow is coming out here does not mean that I think it's the bear market, right? Like any pullback here could get eaten up very quickly. And again, hopefully we just get a miracle overnight or over the weekend. We'll see. Shout out to Wick589 said, and can y'all believe this is only Frankie's second day of using TA? Yeah, I just learned TA, guys. I don't even know what I'm doing. Yeah, love the vibe here. Shout out to Yoshi. Ta-dang. I don't know if that was an accurate Yoshi noise, but shout out to Yoshi. Welcome in, bro. Welcome to the Candle Mafia. Said, I love the vibe here. Hey, shout out to you, bro. We're here every single weekday at 5:45. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notification bells. And guys, run up the likes to 1,000 likes so I can give away $150 in Solana. Either way, we're going to be giving away some Cardano. But if you want one bigger bag of Solana going to an individual Candle Mafia member, let's get some likes in here. Okay, so let's jump back over into H-bar. Boom. So, taking a look here. Again, higher time frame here, going to the daily, right? You have your bear market range, massive breakout, right? Nothing, this pullback was not really anything to worry about. We came back to retest these highs. We did not even, let's pull this, right? This would be the major zone between the golden pocket and the 786 to potentially hold a higher low until we lose that 786 at about 11 cents, right? That would call for a potential bigger drop down to the value area high. Down at about 8 cents, right? But there is still opportunity here to hold the 786, right? Either hold the golden pocket. If that can't hold, you could hold the 786 for another higher low, right? So, doesn't look too bad there, right? Hold on to that structure. Maybe you bounce off the POC of this range. I wonder where that POC is sitting. Yeah, very close to that 786, right? So, I would say very key level here. If you get if Bitcoin goes to 97K and we start breaking lows, 786 would be big, 11 cents. Lose that, I'm probably looking down towards about 9 cents. At that point, if I pull this all the way to this low, yeah, I don't know. This is a big zone. But other than that, if we come on down to a lower time frame here, let me hide this macro fib. Zoom on in here, right? So we had this local key level of support with the 8-hour bull div, gave us a little bounce into the anchored VWAP, harsh rejection at the anchored VWAP. We are now losing that golden pocket. So at this point, unless you can reclaim value area low, and more importantly, the POC, because these are very close together. So I would say the real bigger, nice sign here would be flipping that POC, hopefully getting above the anchored VWAP. Then you could look for the value area high. But let's see this money flow, 10-hour. Let's check the daily. This money flow has been in the red for quite some time. Yeah, I mean, this 5-hour money flow looking across into the red. 4-hour money. If this 4-hour money flow stays in the red, you could potentially. Local support down below would be the 786, right? So I'm going to get rid of this blue box because you already got the bounce, right? Now we're back through it. So I'm going to get rid of that blue box. I'm actually just going to move it down here to that 786. Take this golden pocket off the chart because we already tapped it. So right now I would say. Take a look at this daily real quick. Yeah, I mean, listen, potential. It's not that you can't front run the 786, but you could look for this daily bull div. If you continue down, I would prefer the bull div on the daily to come into that 786. Lower lows, higher lows on your momentum waves into the key level of support for a potential back up to the bounce back up to the value area low, right? That could act as resistance, but if you could flip back above it, that would be nice. If you can get the daily bull div with money flow coming up, that would indicate that you could probably come back up here to the value area high at 19, almost 20 cents, right? But we'll see. We'll see if we'll see what that daily candle. Yeah, it's gonna take some time to get that next green dot, in my opinion. But key support down below, 14, almost 14.5 cents, 786. Do you have any daily MPOCs down there or anything? Oh, we tapped a daily MPOC. Nice. All right, so you are bouncing off a technical level. Daily MPOC 786 zone is what that would have been if we looked at H-bar yesterday or before it came down there. So you're down bouncing off the MPOC. I would say money flow is a little bit harder to read on this, to be honest. Yeah, 10-hour money flow in the red. So if you do bounce up, I would just be careful. Let me check the weekly real quick. Yeah, weekly MPOC sitting down here as well. I'll mark that out. And I'll actually move this box because we've already tapped the daily MPOC. So I'll actually just drag that down here. So really between about, I would call it 0.149 all the way down to about 0.146, 0.147 right here. That would be the next key level. If you could put the daily bull div in there, that'd be nice. If not, you might just put the daily bull div into that tapped daily MPOC I just showed. And then the thought process here, depending on what your money flow does here, that 10-hour money flow continues into the red. I don't know. You don't have a fresh weekly red dot printing here. It actually doesn't look super, super horrible. Obviously, assuming that Bitcoin doesn't dump the bed. Bitcoin dumps the bed, probably going lower, obviously. But let's find some key resistance here. This anchored VWAP from the high. Yeah, it's going to come in pretty close. Pull that local fib here from the lower high to the lower low. So this would be a local resistance level I would be careful of if you're going to continue the aggressive downtrend. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower. Yeah. Full fib brings you probably confluent to the value area high. Yeah, so I would just be careful around this local fib sitting between, if you get the bounce back to the upside, I would just be careful here between about 17 cents and 0.177. This is your local fib, also going to be probably confluent with the anchored VWAPs if we can make it back in there. Once you break above that, right, these anchored VWAPs are probably going to work its way down. If you get back up there, flip the anchored VWAP in the 786. I would simply be looking up towards the value area high at 19 cents, almost 20 cents, which is also confluent with a golden pocket retracement. Bada boom. 786 sitting just above at 21 cents. So these are definitely the levels I would look at. Market cipher analysis a little bit harder to do there. So let me just get rid of these brushes. So yeah, push down again. You got your support here. Lose this. Might be going lower. But I wouldn't mind coming in here with daily bull divs. If not, you might just print a daily bull div, get back in here, be careful, flip that, look up to the high. There you go. Full plan on H-bar. All right, let's see. How's your day, Frankie? Shout out to Tossy. You know, everybody asks how the altcoins are. Not everybody says, how's Frankie Candle? Shout out to Tossy. I appreciate you, bro. My day is pretty good here. Going on into the weekend. Hopefully Bitcoin doesn't go full, full degen mode over the weekend. But shout out to Tossy. Welcome in, bro. Thank you for being here. I'm doing well. Hopefully you're doing well also. I almost said as well. Let's see. Shout out to Munge. Says, yo, shout out to Wix Wi-Fi 99. Mountain Magnets. Patrick. Hey, shout out to Wix Wi-Fi 99. Welcome in. Good to see you in here. Always a good stream when the Wix are here. But let's see here. Munge. I mean, why did I type in your username? He wants to see COQ, which I do hold. And it is, I don't know. Honestly, I mean, it's not at zero yet. We'll see. I mean, I buy these as a gamble, right? Like, I buy these. If they go to zero, I lose the money, right? So if this thing winds up ripping in an alt season, that'd be nice. But yeah. Let's see. Shout out to Gen Z said, Frankie, you're lying. Your brain is exhausted. Yeah, shout out to Gen Z. I'm not going to lie. I was cooked after yesterday. I was like looking at the charts and even dropped a, shout out to the premium Discord. I don't always do this, but, I was cooked on the charts yesterday, guys. But updating the Discord yesterday, let me pull up my face cam real quick because I don't want to leak any premium sauce here. Oh, okay, cool. This isn't really leaking anything, but... oh, cool. The Stream Deck isn't working. But what I don't want to leak here is the BTCTA channel. I don't want to leak any setups or anything. It wouldn't be fair for the people who pay. But, last night here, actually, no, we're good. We're good. All right, so, man, that Stream Deck. What happened to my Stream Deck? But yeah, last night, as we were coming into this daily MPOC, like, we had this key level of support down below. I was totally cooked last night. I'm like, I'm going to bed, guys. I got stopped out for a loss yesterday, and then I took a small win on a scalp. Basically break even. I was slightly red yesterday, but I was just cooked, right? Like, we're just front run. Bitcoin's just been front run city. Like, listen, we could hold this daily MPOC. If we do, these are the levels we're going to be looking at. And literally woke up the next morning, and we were literally inside the value area, sitting right in this resistance zone, obviously walking the Mafia through it. It's like, and then I wake up, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's see. Right, start looking at the charts today. Pull up that scalp range. And there we are, right? Literally like finalizing that move. Right into that exact level. 106.82. Right now we sit almost at 106,000. And we actually came up to about 106K earlier today. So yeah, was like, oh, okay, cool. Push into that level. TA is magic, guys. TA is absolute magic. But let's see. Yo, shout out to Wick's wife, Fine89. Thank you for the super chat. Says, we want to see puppy candles. Hey, shout out to Wick's wife, Fine89. I don't know if you're referring to the dog that we showed on stream the other day. That was not my pup. That was my mom. She got a pup close to where I live. So she actually came to pick up the pup and came to hang out with us for a little bit. But good Lord, that thing was adorable. I actually heard he turned into like a little devil when he got home. But yeah, puppy candles potentially coming soon. I'm overdue for a I'm overdue for a dog. Shout out to Genze said, this man's TA is insane for real, for real. Shout out to Genze. I appreciate that, bro. And after P-Dub asked everybody how long they've been looking at the Bitcoin charts, I realized I've literally almost been looking at Bitcoin dang near a decade. Dang near 10 days. 10 days. I'm 10 days in, guys. Dang near 10 years I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart. That makes no sense to me. I can't believe how fast time goes. And that's not how long I've been looking at charts. I mean, I've been looking at stocks for a long time, learning TA way before crypto. But I cannot believe I've been looking at Bitcoin for almost 10 years. So shout out to Genzy. I appreciate you, bro. It took a long time. Shout out to Vegas Call. Thank you for the super chat. Said, for the ladies, calves. What is that? No way, bro. What is that emoji? Yo, shout out to Vegas Call. I did not know that was an emoji. It's for the ladies. Calves, please. Shout out to Vegas Call. I'll show a little bit of calves, and then we'll jump on into pith or pith, as some people like to call it. My shorts are riding up. I don't want to get banned here. All right, here we go. Here's some calves, baby. Hopefully the pumped calves can pump Bitcoin. I have a hard time getting my leg all the way up there. Oh, there they are. Right calf. I can't get my leg up as high as I used to, guys. I'm 33 now. Turned 33 in April, and I'm starting to feel it. Oh, man. Only calves coming soon, guys. Shout out to Vegas Call. Thank you for the super chat. And Wix Wi-Fi 89. Puppy, hopefully incoming soon. Although it would not go well. Puppy would not go well with the white, Mrs. Candle's white interior on her Tesla. But anyway, let's see. Yo, shout out to Kirk. Said, here we go with the puppies again. I love dogs, but you need goats. Shout out to Kirk. We've tried to get a goat on the stream. If anybody knows anybody who will lend us a goat or maybe even sell us a goat, I've heard goats are really not great pets. Yeah, I guys, there will be a day where I go, guys, we have a special guest, and I hold up a baby goat, a pygmy goat. I will do it. I will find somebody who will let us get it, or let us bring them on the show. Yo, shout out to Wick's wife said, BTC is now 250K thanks to the calves. All right, let's see. Shout out to King says, when 500K? In my opinion, unless we see something crazy happen at new all-time highs and it looks super good, not this cycle. Definitely not this cycle. Hopefully I'm wrong. But, you know, let's see. All right, let's continue on. Have an awesome weekend. Shout out to Eastside Crypto. You as well, man. Thank you for tuning in. Cavs pumping the price. Let's go. Frankie the GOAT. Shout out to Mark. I appreciate you, bro. Phoebe, he was talking to me, not you. You're a GOAT too, but shout out to Phoebe. But anyway, let's continue on here. Let's go ahead and take a look at Pyth or Pith, as some of you guys like to call it. I know we have a Pith chart here. Does anybody say Pith? All right. Oof. Potential low volume gaps being identified here. I kind of have to like reverse engineer the TA sometimes, guys. I just see the marks and I try to figure out what we were looking at. Because we look at so much stuff here, it's like impossible for me to remember. And there's those low volume gaps. Okay, so I don't remember exactly the last time we looked at this. Maybe it was here. Shot up through the first low volume gap into the high volume node, maybe. When was that? No, that was May. Yeah, I don't remember the last time we looked at this. It was probably after that. But here we are. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to have to give you some Fibonacci extension levels because there is nothing underneath us. So if this continues down, right, I don't think there's more price action on this. I think this is all we got. Yeah, all right. So if we continue down, I'll give you some extension levels, but, I mean, very clearly here, breakdown out of the range, bearish retest, like 12.5 cents. That's the level to break above to hopefully get back into this area of balance. If you can't get back in here, right, we already did sweep the low here. Potential daily bullish divergences. I'd really like to see the money flow fix back up here. Maybe that green dot can drag us back into the green. So I will say this. If you're not going to bounce from that sweep of the low, I'd be looking for new lows here. Because like the answer here is you either sweep the lows and then that's the bottom, or this was not the low and you're going to break the low. Like pretty simple situation here, and kind of makes for a short update. Pull from the low to the high. Pull up the. Ugh. Yeah, listen. Can you find support before almost 8 cents? Yes. But But as far as the extension levels go, that is your next extension level. I'll try to find some more local levels for you as well. And these are speculative. You're basically betting on the fact that other traders are looking at this this Fibonacci level. That's kind of their self-fulfilling prophecy, right? If everybody's watching this level, they're going to think like, oh, we're going to bounce, right? And then people start buying, and that gives it the reaction. But yeah, I would say like you lose this low, there's no visible, or you can't look left to find any more support. This is your last level to hold. Sweep it and send it. Otherwise, almost 8 cents could be in the cards. I could also, I guess I could pull a little bit more of like a local. Yeah, these would be like your local targets. I would say 10 cents to 9.5 cents. And then just underneath that, you could look at this as a zone. That would be your local support. So, yeah, like if you don't hold it down here, you might just be on your way to that next Fibonacci extension at about 8 cents. Honorable mentions up here locally. And that is between 9, 9.5, and 10 cents. Between 10 and 9 cents. Ugh, yikes. So hard when you can't look left. You have to kind of rely on these imaginary fib levels. But yeah, other than that, you're hoping that green dot on the 10 hour gives you the money flow crossover back into the green. But locally here, looks similar to Bitcoin, to be honest with you. Daily red dot. Yeah, bull div confirmed, right? A little SFP with a daily bull div. Even if you push a little lower into these fib levels, you can look for a daily bullish divergence. But unless money flow comes back up, it could just still be lower highs, lower lows. Those are the levels I would look at. Really hard to kind of do TA on this, when you can't look left. But yeah, that's what I look at on Pyth or Pith. But anyway, guys, that is our last altcoin for tonight. We do have awesome stream. Shout out to Karan. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for saying that. We got a lot of nice comments in the chat today. I appreciate that. Smash the like button if you guys appreciate the free content. Shout out to 999 Forever says bearish. Yeah, I guess on Pith. Yeah, this chart does not look great. You're kind of hoping for kind of similar to Bitcoin, but more dire for Pith here, because if you break down, you're just like in price discovery to the downside. Other than these imaginary fib levels, but yeah, not great. Kind of like TIA, right? We looked at TIA on the premium live stream today, and we also looked at it on the regular live stream, where we were like, hey, if you can't get accepted into this range, you're probably going to take this low. And then at that point, you still can't really look left once you start taking that low, because all you have is this, right? Like it's the last point on the chart. You lose this, it's like who knows where you can go. You have the Fibonacci extension levels. Hopefully that holds. But yeah, it's like it just doesn't look good. Last time we looked at this chart, I was like, ugh, it looks nasty. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, so Tony, let's go ahead and run the giveaways. Winners incoming. Shout out to Tony D. He's already on it. He front ran me on it, baby. Let's go. We got 10 bags of ADA, I believe, this week. Tia's wrecked. Yeah, shout out to Tony Roaz. I'm feeling that. I do hold a bit of Tia. And it is not in profit. Let's see. H Bar Car says, great job as usual. Shout out to H Bar Car. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Let's see. Thanks for the top-notch TA as usual. Have a great weekend. Shout out to Christopher Columbus. Shout out to you, bro. I love that name. And have a great weekend as well. And I appreciate you for tuning in and stopping by, hanging out with the Candle Mafia, just sitting in the back of the restaurant in the kitchen, eating some sauce. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Tony, we got to go back to New York soon, bro. Guys, I was watching while we're waiting for him to pull the giveaway winners. Yo, I'm like, actually, probably only a select few of you guys know this. I love the jewelry scene in New York City, like the Diamond District. I like jewelry in general. Actually, back in the day when I first started my channel, I was studying to get some kind of like gemology certification. But anyway, long story short, I love watching Moses the Jeweler and Trax NYC's YouTube channel. That's like what I watch on YouTube. If you guys are wondering what I look at, probably like, wow, he probably watches all crypto. Like literally never. But I was watching Trax NYC and Moses the Jeweler, if you guys know them. And I was just watching one of their vlogs yesterday, and it's just so New York, bro. I miss the upfront, fast-paced, shut up and get out of my way of New York. That is not like that where we are now at all. And I low-key miss it. It's like everybody's yelling at each other in the street, but it's like a family. It's like, it's just awesome. It's like, even when people are rude to you, it's like, hey, get out of my way, bro. Yo, what are you doing? What are you, a moron? Move, bro. And then it's like, all right, have a good day. You too, bro. And it's like, I don't know. It's just like I don't know, man. I didn't think I was going to miss that about New York, bro. I totally missed that. Crypto Chef says, if I win Solana, I'm swapping for ADA. Let's go. Shout out to Crypto Chef. Well, it's going to be Cardano tonight, so you won't even have to swap it out. Love it. Yes, yeah, I know. It's, man, it's, let's see. Bada boom. Yo, Crypto Independent says, coming from the guy who doesn't wear any jewelry. I mean, I got some bracelets on right now. I'm not about flexing, bro. Like, not that you think this, but yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I think most people get that stuff to flex, dude. I'm not like that, man. It's not a flex. Like, jewelry's kind of stupid to buy. The gold is good, right? But like, diamonds are dumb. But yeah, I genuinely enjoy, I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. Like, I low key think when I retire one day, I might just want to like become a jeweler. Like, I'll become like an intern at a jeweler. And just like, I don't know. I just think it's cool. It's like just the deals that you make and like actually like making the stuff, drilling the holes, setting diamonds. Like, I just think that stuff's cool. I've always been interested in that. I don't know why. But yeah. All right. We got the winner. Shout out to Tony D. He pinned it. I didn't even see it come in. Shout out to Pace Bailey, J Violet, Tango, Genzi. Yo, we got some OGs in here. I love it. Crypto Independent. Let's go. Shout out to Crypto Independent. Kalichi. Vernie, Cyber Sorcerer, H-Bar Car, and Flipper Frank. Shout out to H-Bar Car, bro. We were just talking to you. And now you got some free Cardano. If you guys just won some free Cardano, go ahead and hit the free Discord. Go to the Help Center and claim your prize. And your boy Tyler Durden, I believe, will be sending it to you. So shout out to the winners. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. Gonna do Uncut Gems. Shout out to Wick589. I was actually telling Tony yesterday, guys. Yo, Trax, guys, don't buy this chain. I want to buy it. But Trax NYC is auctioning off the chain that he wore in, if you guys didn't know that, Trax NYC is like a famous celebrity jeweler in New York, in the Diamond District, and he was in Uncut Gems, and he's auctioning off the chain that he wore in that movie, and I'm fiending to buy it. It's not even really that expensive. It's just like a regular, like, small gold chain. But it'd be so cool. It's like, I like that. It's got history to it. It's like, yo, nice chain. It's like, hey, Trax NYC wore this in a movie. That'd be cool. Yo, shout out to Tyler. Said, we'll see. Depends on my mood. So, yeah, be nice to Tyler in the Discord and kindly ask for your giveaway. But, guys, with all that being said, shout out to Soshi Akamoto. Said I used to buy jewelry to flex. Man, listen, nothing wrong with flexing. It's just, I don't know. It's not my personality. You know, it's like, everything I do in my life is, it's for me. I don't care. I don't care to flex. It's like, I don't know. It just makes me feel, I don't know. I do it for me. Like, I buy stuff that I like, right? But yeah, let's see. Buy it. Shout out to Crypto Independent. That'd be cool. Let's poll the chat next week. Shout out to Tony D. Poll them on what? If they vote, you buy the chain. We'll buy it on the live stream. And you could pay with crypto. You can pay with crypto. Yo, nobody buy it, bro. It's not on Trax NYC's website. It's on eBay. Go to eBay, guys. Go to eBay. If we're gonna go there, it's gonna be sold, and then someone in the chat's gonna be like, "I got it." It's nothing crazy. I mean, it's gold. It's expensive, but it's not like a crazy chain. I buy watches to flex. Shout out to Crypto Anon. Yeah, I mean, like in the watch industry, right, or the watch world, right? Like, I like all watches, and but like for me, like I always loved like bust down watches, right? Just like totally iced out. And the watch world hates those. They're like the scum of the watch world. But like that wouldn't stop me, right? Like I buy it because I like it. Total waste of money, right? The watch is not going to hold value. But that's not why you buy a iced out watch. You buy a Rolex for that. You're going to buy a nice little classic. Well, you know, another thing I really want is the classic, I think it's like a 36 millimeter Datejust, like the Wolf of Wall Street watch. That would be sick. Yeah, I just like, it's so funny. I like window shop watches all the time, and then I'm just like, that's enough. I'll buy it eventually, whatever. And I just like never get it. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Fabian. Said, do they take unrealized losses as a form of payment? I hope so, because my altcoins, I got some pretty decent unrealized losses there. But BTC now going down. Shout out to Adrian. Let me just do a quick little check-in. I know you guys can't see my screen, but just check into... I know, Bitcoin pushing up. But yeah, if you guys just tuned in, scrub to the beginning of the stream. I drop every single key level that I'm watching, and my overall thoughts on the project, overall thoughts on the market. Shout out to Erica. Said, I guess you don't fit in the watch world. And yeah, I mean, I like all watches. I like that 36 millimeter Datejust would be like, people are like, yo, that's a nice watch. And it's only if you know. It's like, yo, that's a Wolf of Wall Street watch, bro. But yeah, let's see. I'll sell it back to you, Frankie. Don't worry. At a slight markup, of course. Shout out to Golden Child. That would be a hilarious story. I've lost 3K over the year in crypto. I don't know what to do. Shout out to Genius, man. I mean, as long as you're not holding total garbage, right? If you're holding projects that you believe in that are going to be here long term, I mean, listen, you could buy the top, especially if it's like Bitcoin. If you're down 3K on Bitcoin, that's not super bad because eventually it will. Eventually it'll come back. You can buy if you bought the top of every single cycle. Eventually you wound up being in profit. But yeah, it's I think patience. Patience is key. Unless they never print money or they never turn on or they never start QE, I think there's a high chance of seeing some kind of an alt season. 4-hour fake out tonight. Let's go. Shout out to Kalichi. Yeah, I'm just kind of chilling. Let's see. I like kind of just like chatting it up, right? I like to try to keep it like mostly TA focused, although sometimes it's a struggle. But like towards the end, I kind of like just kind of chat with you guys. Yo, shout out to Wick said, totes get the chain. Best coffee table centerpiece a white guy could buy. Shout out to Wick 589. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's funny, bro. That's funny. Let's see. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Holding Jupiter wrecked me. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think a lot of the people who are feeling pain right now, especially, I think most people, right? I think like most people who are in crypto, they go for the altcoins, right? Because and I don't blame you, right? Because that's where the massive gains are going to be, right? Like Bitcoin, unless you have a large amount of capital, right? I mean, honestly, you got a big gain from the bear market to where we are now, but the altcoins are typically where the big gains are going to be. But I think a lot of people kind of jumped in a little bit too. This is like a little bit too early, and even if you did jump in a little too early, like some of my spot bags, I bought a little bit earlier, and I just have a longer-term outlook on them, right? Like even Solana, like I have a really good entry price on Solana. Ethereum, I have a really good entry price as well, but it's just hopefully that thing comes. I don't think Ethereum's not going to come back, but I have a long-term outlook, right? Like if I don't mind holding Ethereum long-term. I don't mind holding Solana long-term, at least, into the next cycle. Not that I would want to round-trip it, but I just have a longer-term outlook, especially my Bitcoin, right? Like if we got a flash crash down to $20,000 right now, and there was no chance to like hit a stop loss or anything or whatever the case might be, at the end of the day, it's like I feel pretty good holding Bitcoin over the next 10 years. Let's see. Reactive network is pumping. Alts are pumping. Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, not right now, but or they are pumping locally. Farcoin's pumping locally, but yeah, I mean, listen, over the long term, I just think patience is going to be key here. They start QE, things change very, very fast. Everyone thinks all coins are dead, all coins are dead. QE starts, everything moons overnight, and it's like, oh my God, it's like, like the gold light starts shining, and we're finally at that final part of the blow off top alt season section of the bull market. And remember, guys, that typically does happen at the end of the cycle. It doesn't always happen. It's just generally how it happens, right? So there's no reason to really. That's why I'm not too worried long term. Unless this cycle's over, no alt season, no QE, and we just go down forever. Things are very, 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 very difficult. But we'll see what happens. I think we will prevail at some point. Shout out to Dave Digital said, did I just hear Frankie Candles say flash crash to 20K? Uh-oh. Shout out to Dave Digital. It's not going to happen, guys. I'm going to sell everything right after the live stream. I'm just kidding. Fabian said BTC dominance about to SFP the daily now. Bring it down, please. My alt can't take the bleedings or the beatings. They are about to go. They're about to go to the police. Yo, shout out to Fabian. Shout out to Golden Child said, man, I'm glad I was stepping on the app all through the bear market, was getting sold at every bottom because of stepping. Oh, yo, I know somebody who was making crazy money with stepping, dude. He was like making $800 for going like, or even more. I think he got up to by taking like 20-minute walks. It was crazy. And yo, Golden with the 50 Frankie Candles memberships gifted for the second time tonight. Let's go! Shout out to Golden. What a beautiful Beautiful, 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 beautiful way to end the show. Golden gifting those 50 Frankie Candles memberships. Shout out to Golden, bro. You are the man. Thank you so much for doing that. Drop that golden shower. Start it. Spam those comments. Spam the golden emoji in the chat. Let's get the chat rate up to 215. I think that's our record. Maybe a little more than that. So start spamming those altcoins. Spamming the golden emoji. We won't ban you. Don't worry. But with all that being said, guys, you spam that golden emoji. I got to go in. I don't even know what Mrs. Candles is doing, but I got to go check on her. So I'll see you guys on Monday, same place, same time. Be careful over the weekend. I'll update you guys if something crazy happens. Maybe I'll drop a video or something. But I'll see everybody in the premium who's in there. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys on Monday, same place, same time, right here. 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Shout out to Golden. We love you, bro. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong. Gotta fix this stream deck, guys. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
I walked away from the desk, guys, and Bitcoin, literally the second I move away from the desk, I tested it just now, she pops to the upside. Unbelievable. You guys can't hear me. I just walked away. I tricked Bitcoin. I walked away, and then it pumped, and now I'm back, so it might dump. But there we go. Little pop to the upside, guys. Not too bad. Let me just pull up this next little. Where we at? So let's see. If we get that 8-hour green dot to continue that, give us that continuation to the upside. There is your key level of resistance here. Daily MPOC, 106,987 with your Fibonacci retracement. First level right here. And then if we break above that 786, just watch that golden pocket. Value area high. I got to start walking away from the charts more often. Literally the second I got up, boop. But anyway, guys, the alert went off. That's how I knew. But with all that being said, guys, I also realized that I will never be a member. All the memberships that Golden gives, I'll never have a green name. I'll never have a green name, guys. But anyway, you guys all have green names. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there, guys. And I will see you on Monday. Same place, same time, right here. You know the rest. Hasta pasta. Frank Candles out. Bing bong! This dang stream deck, guys. This dang stream deck.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag.
Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll.